Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast, we have your Full Gear predictions. The Usos break New Day's tag team reign record in the WWE. We got Survivor Series news, and Bill's most controversial prediction came true this week. And I just want to say it was a good week for predictions for your boy Bill. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast.
It just took 2 goddamn decades with fucking Brodus Clay.
2 decades.
It feels like 5.
Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Mark. So welcome to the Banned from Ringside podcast. I'm your host, Bill Vagey, as always, a.k.a. Bumpkin Pie. Hold on.
Did you say bumpkin pie?
Yeah, hold on. Bumpkin Pie. Heat potato pie, squash potatoes and gravy, the gobbledygooker. And sitting directly across from me is Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
Squash potato pie. That's the one.
Oh, wait, I forgot about one. Gene bean casserole.
We know some Gene Bean.
That's the one.
I went back to Bo and I was like, what do you think about mean Gene casserole? He's like, do it either way. I should say that the gobbledygooker was provided by Patriot Pat. So anyway, what's going on, JCB? Thank you, Patriot Pat.
Shit, holla to Patriot Pat. What's up, dog? Ain't shit up, man. Same old shit, just grinding it out, watching a shit ton of wrestling, trying to keep up. And on that lovely note, I'll ask the congregation to bow their heads as I read from the latest edition of the Banned from Ringside podcast, volume 283, chapter 3, verse 14. And the good smart saith, hashtag boo the heels. It's all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat. The holy trinity of BFR. Big week of wrestling. We were just talking about it off air. Stardom and New Japan's crossover. Stardom has a show on the 19th. They're doing a crossover show on my birthday. Thank you to Japan. I love you, motherfuckers. I mean, you couldn't have picked it any better for me. My 2 favorite promotions having a show on the same day on my birthday. Pff, please, happy birthday to your boy.
And out there in Portland, Oregon, the beautiful Pacific Northwest of the East United States of America, we have James, 2 Beer Zach Bowman. What's going on, 2 Beer Zach?
BFR Western House.
Yeah, so congrats to Bill on another year and also on the shittiest take in the history of the podcast coming true. I just realized, I always made fun of the Brodus Clay thing. I had no idea who Brodus Clay was. It just sounded funny because I had no idea who he was. And then I realized it was Tyrus, and it got even funnier. So now NWA stands for N-words with accomplishment.
Wow. I was expecting you to go Fox. I was expecting you to go Fox News something because I know he had that show on Fox News for a while.
He still does.
Let me. Does he really?
Yeah, he's on weekly or whatever.
That's why they did it.
Yeah.
He's literally on Fox News at the end with the 10 pounds of gold.
Cheesing like a Cheshire cat. Yeah, cheesing.
Yeah. Okay, so for those of you that might have missed this, this is an old prediction that well predates the podcast. Probably goes back to 2008 or something.
Yeah, give or take.
It was when Brodus Clay was on NXT and he came in second on NXT. That was before NXT. That was before the Black and Gold. That was when it was kind of Tough Enough almost. But he came in second to Johnny Curtis, later known as Fandango. And when he came in second, he cut a promo on NXT, on the company and on the fans, talking about how he was going to make them all regret it. And it was a sick promo. And I was watching. I was like, this guy has got it all. Look at this motherfucker. And so I came into the bar, and I was talking to Jason, and David Patterson was there, friend of the show, and I believe Joey O'Farrell was there too. And
sounds right.
I was talking about how Brodus Clay was guaranteed to be world champion. Now I probably said WWE champion, and I probably said within the next 5 years or something. But all that shit's lost to time because he is now world champion of the NWA. So congratulations, Brodus Clay. Fuck you and fuck your Fox show.
So out of morbid curiosity, I had to watch I haven't watched the match itself, but I watched the NWA Power episode afterwards.
You know what?
I don't get it.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I should have gone tonight on the Man from Ringside podcast. Somebody call your mama. Somebody call your mama. But anyway,
all right, we're just gonna go back.
we're coming at you from cold St. Charles, Missouri. But I got this table, and it's got one of those propane fire things in the middle with the rocks. And me and Jason, it's not that bad out here.
Not that bad.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
That
weather.
is some real deal suburban white.
I knew what he was gonna say.
Thank you very much.
When Zach came to my house out in the suburbs when I first moved here, he's like, "Oh, you guys got a fridge out in the garage. This is the real suburbs shit."
You made it! Congratulations!
The first thing he said. Anyway, we got a bunch of stuff to get to. Without further ado, let's get to that recount.
Say, Mama, I made it.
2, 3.
JCB, kick it off.
We're going to talk WWE main roster for the one count. Obviously, Bill talked about it, and we're going to delve into it. Right now, to me, one of the two biggest stories of the week was obviously the New Day versus the Usos for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. It opened up SmackDown, which was a little bit of a surprise, but considering how they closed SmackDown, it's not that much of a surprise. Neither here nor there. Usos retained, obviously, so they broke the record on Monday, if I'm not mistaken, to overtake the New Day for most consecutive days as WWE Tag Team Champions. I said it before, I'll say it again. I know FTR is going to get the beefer. The Usos are just right behind them, in my opinion, and this match, and I know Bill's going to probably dog it because we've seen New Day and Uso 15 trillion times, but this 15 trillion time and one was just as good as the other 15 trillion. So
I'll just dog it because Xavier Woods is in it instead of Big E.
True story.
Unprofessional bullshit.
I'll say he does not like Xavier Woods, and Xavier did block him, so there's something to be said about that. Usos, like I said, retained. I thought this was a really good match. It was a great curtain jerker to start things off on SmackDown. So the next thing about SmackDown, I wouldn't consider it too important, but something noteworthy, the SmackDown World Cup. So we're going to have 8 guys in the SmackDown World Cup. The winner, unfortunately, will have to face Gunther for the IC title. As a tournament guy, I like tournaments. Not necessarily too jazzed about this tournament just because a lot of the names in this tournament have kind of not been used, or I guess built up to the point where it feels like anybody can win this tournament. To me, the one guy that stands out above all others, unfortunately, is Braun Strowman. He did win on Monday night. I expect Braun Strowman to unfortunately win this SmackDown World Cup and face Gunther somewhere down the line. So I'll give it to you guys, let you guys talk about either or, whichever you want to talk about.
Zach, go ahead.
I really want to commend them for the opening match of the SmackDown. This was good shit, man. You've got this about to be longest reigning tag team champs, and they have to face the previous reigning tag team champs, right? Like, that's really smart booking. You have to get through the current record holders in order to actually maintain your championship status and get that longest record. And they did that, and I think that was super fun. And they just have fantastic chemistry. So, absolutely, Usos, whether you're talking kayfabe, whether you're talking not kayfabe, it is arguable that anybody else has done more besides FTR. It was just really good, and I love that they gave him it was like a 25-minute match to open SmackDown. That's
it was like
awesome. 2
commercial breaks, something like that. But yeah, it was really good. Who do you like in this SmackDown World Cup?
I do appreciate this. They give it some international flair. It is still, it still has Americans in it. It looks, I really enjoy this because, it's not something that WWE necessarily does. This is kind of, I would be more likely to feel like this would be something that AEW does.
For sure.
In order to, I'm like blanking because I'm 3 beers deep here and just hit my vape pen. But I'm gonna look at the names and I'll get back to you on that.
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
always, I gotta admit, I'm always a little bit. I love tournaments also. I'm a little bit skeptical of tournaments that don't have brackets as soon as the tournament starts.
Agreed.
Because then it's kind of like
we can make it up as we go.
do it as they go along, and
so that's what's happened. That's probably why.
That's why we don't know what exactly it's going to look like. Going back to the Usos New Day, Usos and the New Day have defined WWE tag teams for the better part of a decade. I mean, the Usos have been around even longer than the New Day have as a tag team, even though it took the Usos a while to even get a WrestleMania match. I remember they were like 7 years in, and they were talking about getting their first WrestleMania match, and look where they are now. So, I mean, stick with it, kids. What's the best New Day? I'm not going to dog this match. This match was tons of fun, and I watched it without knowing who won, and which is the best way to watch it. Obviously, it was a really fun match. What's the best New Day Usos match?
Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's what I was going to say too. The Hell in a Cell was memorable. Still, I mean, it stole the show that night, and I think there were 3 Hell in a Cell matches that night. But anyway, congratulations to the Usos. It's a fake record, but it's a record. It's a WWE record, and sometimes, I'm just saying, like,
what do you mean it's fake?
Booking has to come into this at some point. Like, it's not just that they were. It's like Undertaker's streak. Booking came into it a bunch of times.
True.
Like, he could have lost his 5th one. They could have put it on.
He wasn't going to lose to Giant Gonzalez.
I think that was 6. Or no, 6 was the tag team with Nathan Jones. But yeah, congratulations to the Usos. Very cool, as Zach said. Long-term booking, that's good. I think it's fine if Braun Strowman wins the SmackDown Cup, as long as he doesn't go over Gunther.
Duh.
That's it. Or else he goes over Gunther, and then Gunther goes to the top of the card.
Okay,
I
but
could
then
see Sammy winning, and because that's like a phenomenal matchup, especially with Sammy being such a babyface right now, and he's he's smaller than Gunther. That he could play that role perfectly. We could really get a classic WWE match out of those two.
Sammy and Gunther for sure.
yeah, that would
No
be
doubt.
that would be very, very interesting to say the least. Bloodline comes out. Well, they go in the back for the Bloodline episode or segment. No big deal. Santos Escobar versus Nakamura is the next matchup. That is a SmackDown World Cup match. Love Nakamura, but unfortunately, a lot of his stuff is starting to go towards Japan, more so towards the January 1st match versus the Great Muta. So, to me, this was very obvious who was going to win. Santos Escobar goes over clean. Then you had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 woman match. Winner gets Ronda Rousey at, Survivor Series. Shotzi surprisingly goes over. She gets Ronda Rousey next. Obviously, this is going to be a setup for Ronda Rousey to go over and set up something else for down the line. Bray Wyatt and LA Knight have an interesting backstage segment. Go ahead, Bill.
Who would have thought that Bray Wyatt, after his return, his first interaction with another wrestler was going to be Eli Drake?
I was going to say that was not on my bingo card.
No, not at all.
I will just say that straight out. It started with LA Knight, and then you saw the Firefly, upside down Firefly in the background. I can't think who the backstage reporter was distracted multiple times. Then LA Knight finally was like, what the hell are you looking at? And then next thing you know, here comes Bray. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I mean, you got two good talkers on the mic, so let's just see what kind of happens. And Bray kind of challenges LA Knight. How far are you willing to go to make things happen? I forget the LA Knight line about the puppets. What did he say about the puppets? But
he said, "Go back."
He said, "Go play with your puppets and stick them wherever gives you pleasure."
That was the line right there. I popped. I was like, "Oh shit, it's on now." So I'm like, "Okay, so what's going to happen?"
I feel like this was a step in the right direction though, because it was Bray acting like a normal wrestler a little bit rather than acting like
it had nothing to do with Uncle Howdy, and it had everything to do with the human interaction that ultimately is going to happen. I don't care if you want to do.
Even though I'm sorry to interrupt,
no,
even though LA Knight did like take the bump and he didn't get knocked out by a headbutt, like he was like in his face cutting a promo on him, like an Eli Drake promo, and Bill I think described it. He described the Eli Drake LA Knight thing perfectly one time when he said he's just trying to be the Rock and Stone Cold at the same time.
Yes.
And he's good at it. But he was at least in his face cutting a promo. He wasn't crying in a corner because he's scared about, him hanging out upside down in a bridge with his dreadlocks hanging down.
I totally forgot I said that until you said it. Yeah, that is a pretty good description.
No, that's you, brother. That's you right there.
Yes.
Backstage interaction with Ricochet and Gunther, no big deal. Ronda Rousey and Shayna cross paths with Shotzi. Shayna Baszler chokes out Shotzi. They'll set up a match next week. More Drew and Karrion Kross. Tiebreaker has got to come up, I'm assuming, somewhere past Survivor Series, because it feels like the Survivor Series teams on the men's side should probably be set. We'll talk about that here in a second. The return of the Viking Raiders coming back and taking out both Hit Row and Legado del Fantasma was a bit of a surprise. I thought one or the other would get taken out. Taking out both teams is really putting over the Viking Raiders, and
Sarah Logan returned also.
Oof.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Max the Imperial wants her shit back. Hit Row, I think, is in a little bit of trouble, not big trouble, but after a hot start, I see them getting worked over by Legado del Fantasma a week before, 2 weeks before, and now taking that work from the Viking Raiders. Hit Row seems like in a little bit of trouble, and then the final segment of SmackDown sets up the Survivor Series where you have the Bloodline come out, and it felt like Roman was going to anoint something on the Usos, and then you had the Braun Brutes interrupt with Drew McIntyre coming subsequently thereafter. 8 guys in the ring, 2 spots left, 1 on each side. Sammy's going to take 1 pick. Are we still saying KO as the other pick?
Apparently,
he's got a sprained MCL right now.
Yeah.
So
apparently, he's still going to go.
Yeah, I heard he sprained his MCL, but he finished the match, even though he tweaked it in the middle of the match. It still seems like it's going to be KO. I mean, if it's not KO, I can't imagine who it would be.
I think you can hide KO in the
to fill somebody in there, but you could also do that, like you said, like depending on the degree of the injury, clearing him, to be the last guy in or whatever,
right?
Or take a big bump and sit out, whatever.
That's what I was going to think. I was going to say he doesn't have to be in there that long.
If it's not KO, it should be somebody that maybe doesn't add too much to the story to the match, but can add to the spectacle of the match. And so I would nominate Ricochet.
Did you say Shane McMahon?
He said Shane McMahon.
I did.
I was just gonna move right through it. I just wasn't even gonna acknowledge it.
No, I was going to say, do you even think Shane has a place in the Triple H regime at this point?
Fuck no, man. He's been hating his brother-in-law for fucking years and years and years. That being said, Steve, Steve could fill in on the podcast. I mean, I don't hate Steve. He could fill in on the podcast. I don't hate Steve as much. I only kind of hate Steve, and that only has to do with the 49ers shit. All the fucking text messages I receive whenever the 49ers beat the fucking Rams.
Shit. That's great. Let's flip over
I would throw him off a cage, though.
Oh,
Steve.
Dude, you're going to fucking Undertaker your brother-in-law?
He was so nice to me this weekend. He got me beers. He made me chili for my birthday and everything. And here I am repaying him. I'll throw you ass off the cage, Steve.
Off a 15-foot-high steel cage.
Come find me, Steve.
Steve Patterson, you are now on the list.
Yep.
Let's flip over to Raw for a second. We opened up with Seth Rollins kind of feel like he's doing a John Cena open challenge with the U.S. title. I love the John Cena open challenge. I think that was one of the few things I did like about the John Cena run from start to finish, where he did have the open challenge. It feels like Seth Rollins is kind of following on that path. Bobby Lashley comes out to kind of accept the challenge, but doesn't really accept the challenge. It feels like that's going to be something down the line, perhaps a Survivor Series match. We'll see what happens there. Ali is the one ultimately taking the work from Bobby Lashley. Seth Rollins disappears as Ali comes out and steps into the fray. Bobby Lashley, to me, establishes or reinforces, better choice of words, his heel flip from last week, destroying Ali in mere seconds. Well, I wouldn't say mere seconds, but to me, this was basically a squash. When you got the crowd chanting one more time for the guy that's supposed to be the babyface that's catching that work, that's a bit of a problem for Ali. And like I said, establishes Bobby Lashley to me as the next mid-card heel to deal with Seth Rollins at some point. OC in the back. They cut a promo, no big deal. That leads to Mia Yim versus Tamina. Mia Yim wins. So Damage Control tries to bring Mia Yim over to their side. Obviously, that does not happen. Mia Yim is going to join Team Bianca. So last week, we were thinking that the two spots left would be Sasha and Naomi. Now we're down to one. Still think it's going to be one or the other, or are we going to go with the wild card?
I'm going to go with Beth Phoenix. I mean, if Rhea Ripley gets added,
Well, she is.
Yeah, I know. Rhea Ripley's in there, and Beth Phoenix hasn't been seen since Rhea Ripley gave her the concerto after Edge said "I quit." I mean, it makes sense. Bring Beth Phoenix back.
Two beer.
Same.
Candice LeRae to me is the outside looking in, but storyline sense, I would, for once again, if Beth wasn't in prime wrestling condition, you can hide her in a match like this.
I mean, Becky Lynch is out there too.
Becky Lynch is out there too.
Charlotte's out there also, you know.
To join Team Bianca?
I don't know. I'm just saying War Games, it wasn't War Games designed as a Four Horsemen style match. It's a Flair thing, right?
Dusty made it and Flair was in the first few.
Right. Yeah. So I guess, are you saying Cody could come back as the babyface?
No, we're holding him out for a Royal Rumble. You know that. Calm down. Goddamn.
He's going to be Dirty 30 in the Royal Rumble.
My dog. Riddle versus Gable. A slap together match, but one of the better matches on the show. Chad Gable goes over in a bit of a surprise. Are we worried about Matt Riddle, or are we just calling him off?
I'm not worried about him.
No, he's super over. It is weird. It seems like they just don't want to put him at the top, and I don't know if it's because he is kind of a, I don't want to say a problem. He's kind of a wild card as far as things go. You know, he's very outspoken. He's a legit shooter. He's had the whole sexual, misconduct thing. Speaking out thing. I just feel like they could go all the way with him, but they don't. I don't know what the reason is. But
I mean, I'm not
he's
worried.
Always going to be over.
He's always going to be over as a babyface. He gets tons of TV time, but you know who else gets tons of TV time is Chad Gable, and Chad Gable hasn't had a win in a long time. So I mean, they're both they're both two shooters. And that was a tremendous match, and I would have liked to have seen another 7 minutes of it.
Yeah,
to be honest.
It was for a match that didn't have any build. Like I said, to me, it was one of the better matches of the card.
I mean, clearly I'm a Gable mark, but I mean, I was a big fan of this match.
Miz TV is the next segment up. Miz comes out in the usual "I'm sorry" garb after you've done something in a public manner, where he looks like Mr. Rogers. Johnny Gargano comes out, basically playing the foil to Miz once again, setting up next week's match. Dexter Lumis versus Miz. Once again, if Dexter Lumis wins, he gets money paid back owed, and he gets the WWE contract. I cannot wait for this fucking storyline to end. This is just dragging.
Zach, what do you think?
The thing that made this better was I watched the Hulu edition, and the closed captioning had the Miz saying, I regret that I pegged Dexter Lumis instead of paid. So good.
Shit.
But it is absolutely time to put a bow on this thing.
As a huge Gargano mark, that's well established. I fast forwarded through this part.
Ooh, I'm telling.
Listen, I'm just saying what they're trying to do, and Gargano, another guy getting a ton of TV time, and that's good for him. They are trying to establish him as a likable character with the fan base that wasn't familiar with him on NXT. And while they're doing that, they're making him really funny. They're having him with The Miz, who is super well established, always gets tons of TV time, and the crowd has always been a heel, basically, and still gets legit heat from the crowd. So
he was really good in this. Like, him just saying, like, if you would just be quiet so that I can get through this and finish, and just, he said it like multiple times, and he's just like begging for action, and they gave him exactly what he wanted. He was good.
He's always really good. The Miz is always really good. I only have so much time to devote to watching wrestling. I'm watching wrestling. I assume that The Miz was good while they're establishing Gargano with the crowd to get him to the point so he is their new underdog babyface champion, a la Daniel Bryan. I am just going to skip the TV segments. That's bottom line. That's what I'm doing.
I got to drive to work now. That's cutting like a whole extra hour out of my day. I don't
really
have time
is.
for this.
I have turned on some wrestling while I'm driving in traffic.
Oh, no! What are you doing? Dude?
Just to listen to it. Just to listen to it.
Yeah, my ass back say, oh, Zack Sabre Jr. did what?
I'm not
totally
watching Sabre Jr. matches on 40. I trust me, I'm not.
This is very in character, because the first time I said something about to Mark Ortolan about you. About you, you're like, does he drive a white Subaru? And I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, he almost hit me on Grand. You were probably watching Raw,
right? Catching that shit up. Oh shit! Damn, motherfucker! Why don't you walk?
Actually, that was a while ago. I was probably watching 205 Live.
Yeah, probably.
Shelton and Dom have a backstage interaction, which leads to a Shelton Benjamin Dominic Mysterio match. Obviously, Dominic goes over. Poor Shelton Benjamin. God damn.
It is unbelievable that they re-signed Shelton Benjamin 3 years ago or whatever, and they have done absolutely nothing with him except for the Hurt Business. And even then, he was basically jobbing out.
God damn it.
This man obviously doesn't watch the main event. Neither does anybody else.
Where can you find it?
It's on Hulu. Yeah. He's literally, I think he's on like every main event.
I was getting ready to say.
Him and Ali wrestle every main event since 2019.
It's got to be on Peacock too. There's no way. I mean, it's basically.
Who do they wrestle? Tyler Rex.
Jesus Christ. Dana Brooke comes out. Dana and Io's guy have a match. Io goes over. No big deal. Ultimately, once again, like I said, this is the segment that sets up Mia Yim going to Team Bianca.
I want to apologize to Dana Brooke for my joke last week. Blood Girl Raven brought it up on Twitter today. How funny it was or how mean it was, I forget. But I was like, yeah, I woke up the next day and I was like, Dana Brooke seems like a really sweet person, and she's also very attractive. And the joke that I made about her appearance was,
unprofessional bullshit.
And I really shouldn't be talking about a woman's looks that way. So I apologize, Dana Brooke.
Wow.
Come find me, Dana.
That's what I was kind of waiting for, but not going to happen.
Just a different way. No, really, come find me. I'll treat you to a nice dinner.
Come find me, Dana Brooke. I'll apologize to your face, and maybe we can have a nice conversation about male and female dynamics in professional wrestling commentary. All right, what was next?
About to say, I was waiting for the steak food dinner portion of the program. Austin Theory and Dolph Ziggler have the backstage interaction as Austin Theory is explaining why he cashed in on Seth Rollins the week before. I guess. I mean,
This actually did it for me. I really appreciated this.
This was really fucking good.
Go ahead. Explain to me why you think it's good.
Zach, go ahead.
Because everybody was just like, what the fuck? This is the dumbest cash-in ever. And then he laid it out, and he made, like, kayfabe sense. Like, yeah, why would you try to cash in on Roman? Solo Sikoa is just going to, like, low blow you so hard that you never have kids. It's just not going to happen for you.
Yeah,
regardless of how dominant of a champion Roman is, there's the logical – you just do the math, right? Like, I'll just hit up, another title that's prestigious. And, yeah, it was good for me. I liked it.
It was good for me, too. I thought that this was Austin Theory's night. I thought that he came off looking like a fucking stud by the end of this, which is why I said at the beginning of the show, this was a great week for Bill Vagey predictions because of not only Brodus Clay, your world champion.
Oh, God damn it.
I also,
fucking Billy Corgan. I'm going to beat your ass. Billy Corgan, I'm going to come find you for this shit.
You can't steal my shit like
that.
No,
I said I was going to come find him.
What are you doing?
I'm coming to find Billy Corgan.
Gimmick infringement.
It's not gimmick infringement.
No, this is like you doing the same finisher on the same card as me, but you do it before me, so now you fuck with my finisher.
It's a different finisher. I'm going reverse.
What was I just saying?
How Austin Theory is not buried. How Austin Theory call this?
I said last week, this is the best thing that could have happened to Austin Theory. It's the opposite of a burial, and it looks like it's the opposite of a burial.
He did come out, and him and Dolph did have a match. Dolph ends up winning, but wins by disqualification. Austin Theory busts him up like nobody's business. We'll see more of him later on. Team Bianca has a segment, no big deal. You see Finn Balor have a segment, no big deal. Leading up to the main event, Finn versus Seth for the U.S. title. I like this match. I like Finn Balor. I always have. The fact that he got hurt being the first Universal Champion always is going to hang over his head unless he does something that overshadows that. And I just don't see that happening right now. To me, this was more about Seth being reestablished or reinforced as a babyface because you obviously had Austin Theory come out and destroy poor Seth Rollins at the end of the night, standing over him with the U.S. title over his head. I don't have a problem with this. I think Vince tried to push Austin Theory too fast, too hard. Triple H has kind of backed that off a little bit. Not like I said, to me, last week's cash-in was the biggest mistake that he's made, but he did come back and made it make sense, at least in storyline sense. Austin Theory came back this week and was like, what the fuck am I going to do? It's basically 4-on-1, 5-on-1, whatever you want to call it. Okay, fair enough. But, like to what Bill said, Austin Theory is not buried. He was established very well coming back off of a major loss, coming back and destroying both Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins after the fact.
And he stood tall at the end of Raw.
There's not much more you can be. For losing the Money in the Bank, this is a nice rebound for losing.
Damian Sandow did not close out Raw the week after he fucked up cashing in the Money in the Bank.
True. Look, I'm not going to sit up here and disagree with that, okay? Like I said it last week. I don't think he's buried. It's just now we're taking the Triple H storyline with Austin Theory versus the Vince.
Talking about Finn Balor, first of all, Finn Balor, Triple H is a big-time fan, obviously. I want to talk about...
Yeah, Triple H loves House of Torture. Yeah, Finn Balor is responsible for House of Torture. I just want to throw that out there.
In a long way, he is.
If he never would have done it, this wouldn't have happened. So I'm sure we can probably blame 9/11 on him, too, if we just, work it out.
I mean, that's like blaming the CEO of NBC for Trump's presidency because he put him on TV and gave him The Apprentice.
Well, you said it, I didn't.
Which I have probably done at bars multiple times. But Finn Balor rules, obviously. I want to talk about the faction, the Judgment Day, because, we give WWE a lot of shit for not having factions that often. Sometimes they get behind a faction and it just fucking works, man. Like Like the Shield, obviously. The Wyatt family is another one. The Bloodline is easy. Judgment Day is a little bit different because they're really like they were like four disparate parts that got put together kind of randomly after the beginning. When they killed the Clutch with Edge there for a second, and then they kind of reset with Finn Balor.
You said killed the Clutch.
This faction is working though.
It is.
It's getting all four guys over, and I think that there's something to be said for that. We have to give them credit where it's due. It is getting all four people in the faction over. And like I said a couple weeks ago, if you would have told me that these four people would be in a faction together,
no way.
You would have been like, this is the dumbest fucking thing I've
Pass
ever
this
heard.
shit and tell me how it happened.
What are you talking about?
How this work out? No, I agree with you totally, especially with Dom as being the one that's the least established. It seems like weekly he just catches more heat, going to the Eddie Guerrero, shimmy at the top, little things like that is just things that will help him in the long run as long as he stays as a heel.
Dom is starting to feel like a legit, like, great heel.
He's got the baby face. Oh, I'm sorry. He's got the chicken shit heel going on really well. He's got that played out.
Pretty funny, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Rhea Ripley is tougher than Dom is.
Man, somebody go to a show and hold up a sign that says Dom is a sub. Somebody please do it.
If it hasn't been done already, I'll be surprised. But if it hasn't, go ahead and do it.
We're gonna keep it moving. Zach, any final thoughts on the main event picture?
The only final thought I have is: do you think that Rhea Ripley and Buddy Matthews, 69, standing up with Rhea on her feet?
Are they together now?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
So he went from Alexa Bliss to Rhea Ripley?
Bliss to Rhea Ripley, yeah.
Dude,
that's my dog.
Absolute legend.
Dude does not have a type.
I'll do it all. Damn it.
Jesus Christ, man.
I was about to say.
People are like, Buddy Murphy needs more screen time, and he's like, yeah, I'm fine.
Say, you know what? I'm good in catering.
He goes to Hardee's for lunch and gets foie gras for dinner, man. He's all over the place. And I'm not saying either one is either. I'm just saying he's got a big palate. Big palate.
The next question out of my mouth is, which one was which?
Hey, I'll tell you what, man. I'd eat them both, too. Jesus Christ, that's disgusting.
Happy birthday, brother.
Let's get to that 2 count.
1, 2, 3.
2 beer, what's a 2 count?
Man, quite the lead-in. So we had a go-home show for AEW Full Gear. We will talk a little bit more about these things whenever predictions happen. But, I will start with Rampage. There wasn't a ton. We had one of those Eliminator tournament matches with Roosh and Bandito. Roosh got pretty much all the offense, and Bandito got kind of a roll-up fluke win after, some interference. So distraction finish. Not like an amazing way to get Bandito over, but I understand them wanting to protect Roosh. Roosh was like an enormous star in Mexico. He's not that here and now, but they want him to be big, but then you also have Bandito. So I might not have put these two together in the tournament, but, it was fine for what it was.
I thought it was really good, to be perfectly honest. That's just me.
Yeah, totally. The match itself was good.
Yeah,
sure.
I agree with
kind of presentation-wise.
Yeah, the thought process behind it, I agree with everything you said. This is probably not the two guys you want to see at the start. Maybe, semifinals, finals, okay, fair enough, but not at the start.
I call him Rush.
Yeah, like...
All right.
You're a Ron Howard movie from 2018, you motherfucker. All right.
Hey,
so, very unlike Brian Cage and Dante Martin, where you know who's going over, even though Cage is kind of slotted in a certain position. But, I mean, good big man, little man match. But, yeah, Cage obviously went over.
No problem with that. I just like the fact that they're actually doing something with Brian Cage for a little bit. And I said it last week. To me, he's Wardlow, but just doesn't get the love that Wardlow does.
Yeah. As great as he looks and body and his moveset and everything, just charisma department, there's something missing with Brian Cage. Otherwise, I feel like he'd have like won a WrestleMania match by now. You know what I mean? Because he's just so goddamn everything that you would think. Like you look at that guy, like you see him in like an Applebee's, and you're like, I guess a professional wrestler. 100%.
No, I agree. I never, even when he was the Impact World Champion, he had the run there. I never really liked him as a promo guy. Anything I liked about Brian Cage was in the ring. So for me, you know, him going to Team Taz to start was perfect because Taz would be the guy that would talk, and Brian Cage would just, you know, do Taz's bidding, and that to me was perfect. You know, him standing alone as a babyface or a heel is going to be a problem, especially if you have to put the mic in his hand.
Yeah, like I've said about him before, he should stand out, but he doesn't on the television show.
I agree,
which is a bummer. But yeah, this Dynamite show was a little uneven, but it was still, you know, worth my time. But it opened with a really good match: Danielson and Claudio versus Jericho and Guevara. Did not end like you would think. If you look at this, you're like, oh, well, Sammy Guevara is there to take the pin because all these guys are going to be in the title match that we'll talk about in our predictions. But Claudio taps out Chris Jericho, kind of getting his win back from losing the title to him. But this was absolutely solid, and this feud has lasted a while. I'll say that. I feel like Jericho Appreciation Society is in like a trimester of feuds. I feel like maybe the way Tony Khan books is like, all right, they're going to feud with the Pinnacle for 4 months, and then we're going to move on to the Blackpool Combat Club for 4 months, and then whoever after that, because there's so many people in that they can kind of multi-layer the feud. And Jericho is always in like these long feuds anyway. So I don't know if you guys feel any certain way about this getting a little tired, but maybe we do wrap it up after the pay-per-view.
I don't know if I'm tired of it, but I will say that it is starting to lose a little steam. I thought Claudio should have got his rematch beforehand, but now you got 4 guys in it, so if it feels like the full gear card is unpredictable for the most part. There's certain matches that I think are slam dunks, and then there are others like this one where I'm just not sure what the fuck's going to happen. And I like that. I'd rather it be unpredictable than the opposite. But I agree with you. At a certain point, we need to start figuring out if Jericho retains, what's next for Jericho. If the new champion arises, you know, there needs to be a plan for that. So the match is good. It's just, I agree with you. We're getting to that point where I'm not over this feud or angle, whatever you want to call it, but I'm at that point where we need to start kind of figuring out what's next.
Well, there just needs to be a shift in the dynamic of it. I mean, that's all it is. I'm just kind of sick of Jericho. If I'm being honest, I'm like he's been on top for a long time. He has been in this iteration, you know. Changing from the Inner Circle to the Jericho Appreciation Society is not necessarily a change in gimmick. It's just a change in the people around him, which is fine. That's fine. I'll have more to say about this in the predictions. The match was good from what I saw of it. It didn't have my full attention because there were other things going on in my house, but I've watched enough wrestling to where I knew that I wasn't surprised that Jericho tapped out to Claudio because...
Really? A tap out?
No.
Okay.
No. Something I've learned about Jericho is that he has staying power. So I think that he's going to be able to shake that off.
Oh, it's not... Obviously, he's going to be okay going into Full Gear.
Oh, you think Jericho can survive this tap out?
But absolutely, but he doesn't give that many people the tap out. So that's what surprised me. You know, there's so many like distraction finishes and run-ins and like all this shit like on these shows all the time, Raw, SmackDown, and AEW, that having a clean win in a tag team match with two teams that have larger factions, like kind of surprising just in the sense it was a clean tap out win in the middle of the ring, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll give that to you. Yes, a clean win was a little bit surprising. Jericho taking the loss was less surprising. I was listening to the Super J-Cast. I'm not one to talk about other podcasts, but they talk about all New Japan. They know more about New Japan than I do, and sometimes I listen to it. And they were talking about that Suzuki Fred, how do you say it? Yehai?
Yehai!
That Fred Yehai match, and how Suzuki gave Yehai tons of offense. I ended up watching it today. It was a good match.
Yeah, it was the New Japan Strong.
Was it Strong?
Yeah, it was on Strong. And Suzuki gave him tons of offense. And they were like, well, that just goes to show you how much Suzuki probably thinks of Fred Yehai, that he's like, oh, this guy's really good. I'm going to give him tons of stuff. I have to think that Jericho just respects the fucking shit. There's probably nobody that gets more respect from the other wrestlers in the back than Claudio.
I'm not good.
Dude, I think he's so well respected as a technician. Like I always go back to that story of Randy Orton and Seth Rollins trying to figure out whether or not they could do a curb stomp into an RKO, and they couldn't figure it out. Like these are two of the best wrestlers of our generation. Like Hall of Famers, absolutely. And they're like, well, we better go ask Claudio because he'll know if we can actually pull it off.
I don't think I've ever heard that anecdote, but that makes sense. I remember that
I
remember that RKO too.
Is that the one when he threw him up and then they caught him in the air or whatever at WrestleMania?
Yeah, he went to do the curb stomp. Orton stood up, and Rollins lifted Rollins with his head, and then turned it into an RKO, and then Rollins cashed in later on that night.
Sweet.
That was 100% like they went over that with Claudio to make sure that they could pull it off, and they did it without a hitch. I mean, they're absolute pros. But it's funny that those two guys, I mean, they're phenomenal, and they're like, well, we better ask Claudio.
Well, yeah, and I just want to say, I'm not arguing with you, Jason, and I'm not arguing with Zach. This didn't surprise me that much. Maybe that's just because I'm a dumbass, but I was like, oh, yeah.
Come find me, Bill.
He tapped on Jericho.
Road trip to Portland. No, it just, for me, Sammy
Guevara. Really stop stealing my shit. Like, seriously. Hold on.
I won't do it again.
I got to pause it right here. Hold on. Hey, guys. It's paused right now. Stop stealing my shit, okay? Okay, I'm hitting record again, okay, guys?
My fault, boy.
Okay, go
He
ahead.
never stopped recording.
Oh, yeah, I did. Oh, yeah, this is serious. Hold on, I got to pause it again. All right, we're back.
Now I forgot the fuck I was going to say. Sammy Guevara was the guy that I thought was going to take the pin just because you want to keep the champion strong going into a title match, number one. And number two, you just don't see Jericho tap out clean. It's rare.
Yeah.
You know, a loss is...
he was the Dana Brooke in the situation.
Wow. You ain't shit. You ain't
I'll tell you what, when Jericho's dressed up like the Painmaker, he does look like he's in the Black Hole Sun video, though.
Move on, Two-Beer. Let's go.
Oh yeah, I'm quarterbacking this count. Sorry, shit. That was just the very beginning. That was literally the first thing.
I made this joke to my brother about some chicks that we went to high school with. There was a picture of a bunch of them, and there's this one chick that's super hot, and I was like, hey, blank looks like she just stepped into the Black Hole Sun video. And my brother was like, what a perfect joke for an audience of one. And I was like, I guess I gotta bring it back at some point. So I've just been waiting to use it. Poor Dana Brooke.
You're right. Collateral damage for a bad joke.
Poor Dana Brooke. It was a good joke. That was the point. All right. Keep it going, Zach.
So again, feeding into Full Gear. We can talk about predictions, coming up, but we did have kind of more matches with the contestants for Full Gear. We had Anthony Bowens versus Swerve Strickland. Kind of very fun music video, very fun entrance rap. We acclaimed this is acclaimed every Wednesday. I am totally down for it. Like right now, like ride that wave. It is still hot. That wave is not crested yet. Mm-hmm. It's just a tsunami across the land here. So keep it going. But I mean, the right person went over. That said, you want the challengers in a singles match the week before the pay-per-view to go over. That's just smart booking. That's just like what you would do to give kind of the benefit of the doubt. Like, oh, they could win the championship.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. No, as much as I love the Acclaimed, and haven't wavered like, others of us around here. But that said, I do love the Acclaimed. I love the video. Nice little callback to the Water Boy to start with the Captain Insano portion of the program. But I agree with you. The right guy ultimately went over. One of my biggest problems with wrestling in general, and it's not just AEW or Raw or whatever, when you have an established singles guy versus the established tag team guy, the singles in a singles match, the singles guy should win. Period.
He should have gone over for that reason too. You're 100% right, because it's Swerve Strickland. Like, Swerve is like a legit top guy.
Right. And
top guy.
If it was anywhere else, if he was in somewhere else that was not WWE or AEW, he would probably be one of the top guys. If he's in either or, he feels like he's somewhere in the mid card.
He's really mad at Cyrus right now.
He should be. Shit. I should be NWA champion. Just fuck. You got two black guys as the NWA champion. R-Truth is one, and Tyrus is the other. I'd be mad too if I was Swerve Strickland.
Now, Swerve is like literally, so he's probably like literally half the man that Cyrus is, but he's 5 times the pro wrestler that he is. Maybe 10 times.
10.
Yeah. So
you gonna tell me Tyrus can do the shit that Swerve does? Fuck that.
No, he doesn't even dream about it.
That's your world champion, by the way.
I feel like you guys are
he
trying to
doesn't
bait
even have the imagination.
I feel like you guys are waiting for me to argue about this or something. I'm not going to argue. I just put the prediction turned sour literally 12 years ago. It was 12 years. It's 12 years since that prediction went bad.
Oh shit!
I've only been standing by it for comedy purposes.
He's very committed to that bit.
God bless him.
He's like a clown that like is walking through the desert with you, and you're lost in the desert, and then like you're about to die of thirst, and the clown like sprays water through a flower on his chest, and you're so mad because you actually had like a little bit of water that whole time, but he's so committed to the bit.
Motherfucker, come on,
you're
man.
dying of thirst. Anyway, sorry.
We got time to bring out no IV.
That's a fucking weird tangent, and I'm moving on.
That's some of that Portland vape, dude.
I need to come up and get some of that shit.
I've been there before. You just start, and you got to keep going.
It's called Obamacare. It's real good. That's the name of it, I swear.
No, wait, stop.
That's
Obamacare is the... God bless. Yeah. I got to go to Portland. Go ahead.
It's an indica. Good. All right. So
he was born in Indica, right?
Actually, we don't know where he was born because we haven't seen the goddamn certificate. Anyway, Jesus Christ.
I'm dead.
We went into a birther episode of TFR.
I'm dead.
Went off the rails not even an hour in.
No shit. Right.
Anyway, we have a setup for a 3-way that was coming. It seemed obvious. Powerhouse Hobbs, Wardlow, Samoa Joe, fine segment, nothing like too detailed. Samoa Joe comes out doing the interview. Hobbs, comes out to interrupt, and Wardlow comes out to interrupt that. Wardlow ends up standing tall after, coming up from behind, spearing Joe, jumping over the top rope. So this will be a good match. This is going to be a really good match. We will not talk about it any further because we have predictions to talk about.
Big meaty men slapping meat.
I love that shit, but I love the fact that Joe basically came out and was just like, look, man, your boy was being disrespectful. What the fuck am I supposed to do? I mean, that's as much as Austin Theory's promo made sense, Joe's promo made sense. I just can't have this motherfucker coming out talking shit.
Can I just say one thing about Joe?
Oh, shit.
I mean, he wears jeans like my 6th grade teacher. It's like, dude, you wear those jeans. They're just fucking massive. They look like hammered denim pants.
God damn, you ain't shit.
Except they fit him pretty good because he's fucking huge. Dude, motherfucker should not be jeans. It did not look intimidating. Don't come find me, Joe.
I say you come. If Joe pops up, I'm out. I'm taking this laptop and I'm doing the rest of this shit at the crib. I don't know what happened.
He threw you on the bike and just emasculate you in front of your wife and kids.
Oh God!
Or he can beat you up. It doesn't matter.
I'm your kid's dad now.
Right.
He'll beat you up.
He'll beat him up.
So we had Death Triangle versus Era Fox and Top Flight. So good to see Darius Martin back. This was a fun party match. It was not a psychology-laden match at all. They were just out there doing moves, and Era Fox put on a great show for his first time on AEW television programming. Apparently, he got a contract out of this.
Really?
So whether or not he signs it, yeah, he was offered a contract after this match. So
good. They need to sign some more guys.
Stop.
Yeah. Everybody does. But pretty sure Era Fox, he wrestled Naito at Glory Pro.
You stole my thunder, motherfucker.
Yeah.
He rules.
And we were.
He looks great.
We were right there. Yeah, and he did real good. And big story coming out of this, though, besides just a fun party match, is we have announced arguably the steal of the show match on Full Gear. We got the Elite back, so it's the Elite versus Death Triangle. Like, Jesus Christ, I can't think of. You got career rivals in Young Bucks and Pentagon and Phoenix, like their favorite opponents. Like each side will say that they are their favorite opponents. Then you have Kenny Omega and Pac, who are phenomenal wrestlers. Like this match, Steve Patterson said it on Friends of BFR. I'd buy the pay-per-view alone for this match. If this pay-per-view was $50 and it was just this match, I'd still pay it.
There will not be a better match on the card. There will not be a better match. There will not be a more fun match to watch.
Okay, that's what I was going to say.
Okay?
Yeah.
I know. There might be more drama in other matches, but there will not be a technically more fun match
than this match. Two Beers stole my...
It's guaranteed.
Two Beers stole my thunder again. He actually kind of repeated my tweet that I said last night. These six guys have chemistry, and I'll just focus on Omega and Pac for 30 seconds. They've arguably had two of the best singles matches in AEW history, and I know it's a short history, but it's still history nonetheless. You take those two guys, you take the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks, and you put some titles on the line. Okay.
Baby, you got a stew going.
That's some gumbo shit. I'm ready to see that shit. Yeah, that's going to be... I'm not ready to say it's going to be the match of the night, but it has match of the night potential for sure. No question about it.
Was that definitely not a shower match?
Yeah, it's not a shower match.
It's definitely not a shower match. No, I'm going to be right there.
After.
Sorry, fellas, I got to go take a shower. Don't step in that little puddle over there. No, it's going to be amazing.
You might need a shower after.
It's going to be amazing. I like the fact that they drug this one out, okay? We knew it was going to happen, but the fact that they waited until the 11th hour to make the announcement is the right move.
I'm going to be drugged out watching it, that's for sure.
I hate you.
Literally clock ticking on the announcement. Like, the clock ticked.
Right.
Yeah, you're 100% right. We got Ricky Starks addressing Lance Archer. So Ricky Starks is he was out of action last week. Had a legit injury, undisclosed, pushing everything back. So we're not going to have the finals of Full Gear on this. We are going to have the semifinals on the buyout, and then we're going to have the finals next week. So we can talk about that as we move on.
That's a done deal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I was wondering what they were going to do, because there's still two matches to find out who fights Ethan Page, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, TK did the presser beforehand promoting the stuff. I can go over some of that stuff too, like the news from the presser after we get done with Dynamite. Very quick. We had Ethan Page versus Bandito, and I had kind of slotted Ethan Page into winning this, because I kind of have him slotted into winning the tournament. He's been getting a lot of screen time, and it just kind of makes sense, especially if MJF wins the title and he's kind of part of the firm. And then
either or guy.
MJF, I don't want to get ahead of us.
If Mox wins the title, he had, he laid out Mox. So, I mean, there's beef there, too. Either way, true. Whoever wins the title,
he's got beef with both.
He's got beef with both.
Yeah. I was just thinking in my head, and not to get too far ahead, I don't want to talk about predictions, but if Max were to win and turn babyface, he has the firm built in as a heel team that he can run through. He's got challengers, right, that he can kind of beat. Uncharacteristically for MJF, because the dude doesn't fucking wrestle. So, I mean, more power to him. If I can make millions of dollars,
I mean, to tell you,
not wrestle, be a wrestler and not wrestling. Like, there's like dudes probably that wrestled in the 1970s that are just like jerking off to this kid because he's so smart. He just manages to make all this money and he doesn't do fucking shit.
God bless that dude.
But he's swole. He looks good.
No, he looks good.
Anyway, this was very fun. Opposite of the match that I talked about with Bruce, they gave Bandito a ton of offense. Super impressive dude. Bandito is very, 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 very good. Like, very good. And he manages to do like these like strength spots.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a super big guy, but like when he did like that deadlift vertical suplex, and I feel like maybe they were gonna do that super long vertical suplex, so they kind of messed up the timing, and instead he's like, I'll just lift you up and make it look cool anyway. He did like the one arm power slam.
That's one of my favorite moves from Bandito.
Yeah, moonsault off the post, like really, really looked good in a loss here. So Ethan Page moves on. What do you guys think?
No, I agree with you totally. I think Ethan Page obviously is my pick to win this whole thing because he has beef with both guys. So at least TK has covered his tracks on this one. So now you really don't know who's going to win the world title match at Full Gear. I mean, obviously we're going to call it here in a little bit, but just for the match itself, it was a Bandito showcase, and as well it should be. I mean, if you're going to sign Bandito, he needs to be looking strong as much as humanly possible, and this is one of those cases. ROH just needs to come back and start its gears up so these guys that can't get over in AEW, Brian Cage, Bandito, Ethan Page, a lot of guys that feel like seemingly in this tournament, minus Ricky Starks, a lot of these guys can get TV time on ROH, and that to me is the one of the biggest hurdles that AEW has to deal with in 2023.
The problem with this match, the problem with the finals of this tournament coming on the Dynamite after Full Gear is that I feel like the winner of the title match at Full Gear will telegraph who's going to win the tournament, the Eliminator tournament. That's my opinion, but that also has to do with my predictions that are coming up later. So, we can move on.
Cool. Worth noting that this crowd was not great. It was also huge.
They were bad.
They weren't a very large crowd, like 3,400. Pretty low for a Dynamite, especially Go Home Show. But they're running the Northeast like a lot.
Yeah,
I'm very glad that they're coming to the West Coast.
It was in Connecticut, and I don't
think Connecticut is that much of a hot spot minus Stanford. I mean, what the fuck?
No, but I'm just saying it's not some arenas just don't have the same acoustics. Like, you might see two arenas that might look the exact same, but one might sound way different, and they might have mic'd the crowd wrong or something. So it's tough to shit on a crowd unless it's Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. But
no, this one's getting a pretty close second. I mean, well, you have Tony Storm, your interim world champion out there, and I know Anna Jay is not the greatest opponent, but that whole match was just straight crickets. You could hear anything drop, and you could hear clearly.
It happened in the main event slot too. But
yeah,
I
probably
was
the worst reaction I've ever heard for either of those guys, and they're arguably the two biggest stars in the company.
When Anna Jay is on screen, though, I am cheering on the inside. I promise.
You ain't shit.
Down in my loins.
God damn it!
Say, God damn it!
She's attractive.
Best seat in the house.
What's next?
so that was the championship.
I just
promo,
want to point out. Well,
about.
I want to point out that Eddie Kingston called out Takeshita, and
and Jun Akiyama.
Yeah, and I just want to point out that Eddie Kingston called out those guys, but has yet to come find me. So
Jesus Christ. So he has been trying to come find Jun Akiyama since the 80s.
Yeah, but but Eddie Kingston doesn't even have to fucking get a passport to come find me. He can take an Amtrak.
God damn it.
I'm here in South St. Louis, Missouri. Look me up. I live with Jason Bell.
Whoa. Hang on now.
I'm a 155-pound black dude. Looks like Gary Payton.
155, man. I put some weight on since. What the fuck, man?
Good for you.
Dude, there's so if you haven't, sometimes I like to just, move away from modern wrestling, which is hard to do a podcast and you have to talk about it, but I'll go back and I'll watch All Japan stuff. So particularly tag matches, All Japan tag matches in the 90s. There's legitimately amazing shit on YouTube for free, and it's so much better. I just watch Ospreay and Naito, and I'm oh my god, I love this fucking shit so much. I gotta just fuck off with anything else that I'm doing in my entire life, and I gotta go back and watch some great Japanese wrestling. But yeah, Jun Akiyama has phenomenal shit out there. There's a tag match with him and Masawa versus Kawada and Kawe from All Japan. Unreal. It's this unreal level of wrestling. They were blessed in '96. I was only 11. I didn't have access to a credit card or any kind of international shit. I didn't have anything really. I just had some shirts that were too small or too big. But
can you imagine? Can you imagine if 11-year-old Zach would have been watching Japanese wrestling, just doing real nerdy shit instead of doing all the super cool jock shit that he was doing instead at age 11?
Yeah, I would have discovered masturbation way sooner. Anyway,
no, I'm very curious to see how this match unfolds. I've never heard of I'm sorry, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the man's name, but Eddie Kingston is pretty hyped about this, and that's all I really kind of need to know at this point. So if Eddie Kingston's going to bring it, that means this is going to be a good match, and I'm ready to see it.
But so we had Moxley and MJF. Moxley was not getting good response here in Connecticut, and it was kind of funny because
he was getting the booze.
He was getting booed a little bit.
He was getting some booze, and part of it was his promo was him kind of explaining how shitty the storytelling was to this match, which it is the understandable match that you would make. They are the two biggest stars, but he's essentially explaining that this is a really terrible story leading to this match. He's some group came out, pulled a chip down and gave it to you in a mask in the worst ending to a ladder match that I've ever seen in my life.
Oof.
And he's now all of a sudden you're challenging me for the title, and you've only wrestled one match in the last 6 months. And
Oof.
Whenever you bring it up like that, it doesn't sound particularly great. That said, I do want to see this match. I'm very interested about it. But
all bullshit aside, I still want to see the match.
Yeah, it was funny. So it didn't quite work, and then the firm come out, and then MJF it was modeled for him to kind of make a babyface stage,
mm-hmm.
and then he did this phenomenal promo after the show was off the air, where he just pretty much pimped out Tony Khan and talked about how Tony Khan created an alternative,
mm-hmm.
and
yeah. Sounds good.
All of the true things, and then he also said, but I also like WWE, because he really wants to push that 2024 story, and it was pretty funny. But he cut a huge babyface promo, so we will talk about this in the prediction stuff.
Well, that's why they shouldn't show. That's why they shouldn't show the shit that happens off the air.
Somebody's going to tape it.
I don't want to see him.
Somebody's going to record it.
Listen,
it's Aero cell phone. Somebody's recording it.
I didn't know that he cut something off the air. So let's just talk about canon. Let's talk about what happened on TNT or TBS or whatever fucking channel it's on. 247.
Right.
I was a big fan of Moxley in this segment. Big fan of Moxley. I was less of a fan of MJF, and I was way less of a fan of the booking of the firm. Now, if it comes out that the firm is still working for MJF and they were basically jobbing out on purpose to MJF, that's one thing. But if you're going to have MJF come in and basically destroy the firm without even trying, basically. I mean, he's doing eye pokes. He's doing Three Stooges shit, Roddy Piper shit, and people are on Twitter being like, well, Roddy Piper did that shit. It's like, okay. But this isn't Roddy Piper's era. This is MJF's era.
Right.
Like, doing an eye poke to Ethan Page, taking out Morrissey that easily, they made the firm look like a complete joke. So if the firm is not part of this story going forward, and this wasn't all working the workers, or that's probably the wrong term, but if they weren't, if kayfabe style, it wasn't MJF paying the firm to look bad on his behalf, then that should be the end of the firm. Keep Stokely Hathaway with Ethan Page, because I think that they are a money match. Keep them together. Get rid of the ass boys. Get rid of Morrissey. Have him go on his own. Lee Moriarty. Have him go on his own. But they should not be a faction, because that was it. Like, MJF just dismantled them, kayfabe style, with no trouble at all.
Oh boy.
Am I wrong?
Like,
Am I wrong?
I mean,
I'm not saying you're wrong.
It's just that happens. I'm not worried about that, because that happens with baby faces. Like, that's the thing. You come out at the end of the show as a baby face, and you clear the ring.
I understand, but with no pop, and for it to happen,
yeah, there was
a pop.
For it to happen so slow. I mean, it was like guys going through the motions at the WWE Performance Center when W. Morrissey turns around and kind of stares at him for a second and takes a whatever. That was bullshit. I love the promo afterwards, and I absolutely loved John Moxley grabbing the mic before he said, and you know it. Like, I loved it, and like I said, I loved John Moxley in this entire segment. I loved William Regal in this entire segment. I loved MJF for most of the segment. There's something else I want to point out about this segment, but I can't point it out until we do our predictions.
Oh, man, let's just get to the predictions. God damn it.
Well,
real quick.
Hold on. We're going to talk about NXT first.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I will go over the media call real quick. So,
yeah.
They asked about Punk. He said he's not going to talk about Punk. He did say that he appreciated Punk's contributions to the company, but he would not comment on anything else.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
as in past tense.
Yeah, well, or has appreciated whether it's
no. I was about to say, I think context is kind of important in this
scenario. I
think
we all know the writing on the wall. I don't have the quote in front of me, but I think we all know the writing on the wall. I mean, he still got fired. The Elite are in a match on the pay-per-view.
No, for sure.
Doing a MMA commentary,
Yeah, for sure.
They asked about FTR not being on the event, and he just basically said, "I got a lot of wrestlers under contract."
No shit.
But he's very looking forward to being able to showcase more Ring of Honor content, and we should have news on that shortly. The decision is going to be made about ROH's direction and TV future, but it's going to be after Final Battle, and so we won't hear anything until after Final Battle. And he said he's definitely tried to get FTR and Briscoes a match on AEW TV. I think it's a hang-up with Turner. They do not want the Briscoes. He didn't say that, but that's kind of what we've heard in the past. We are going to have Owen Hart Foundation tournaments in 2023. That belt exists. It's one belt that we don't see. Britt Baker doesn't wear it. Adam Cole's off TV. So
you said that's one belt we don't see. You ain't lying, though. You ain't lying.
Yeah.
I love AEW, but just goddamn, it's a shit ton of titles.
More belts in a Men's Warehouse.
It's a shit ton of titles. That's why I want to see ROH come back, because if ROH comes back, you don't see you don't see all the titles on one show. You can see, 5 on one hand, 5 on the other. So in that scenario, I think it would be it's one of those things where 2023, this is a major hurdle they need to overcome and get that out the way so they can move forward with 2 shows.
Yeah. So speaking of ROH, Mercedes Martinez, who's the women's champion, she was cleared to return this past Wednesday, so she will be back soon, which is good because she's a great wrestler. She's a veteran. She'll be good for
so I guess that's kind of a question I was thinking about. I was wondering where she was been for a while, but now that you said that she's been hurt, how come we didn't do an interim championship with that? That'd have been my question for TK, you dumb motherfucker.
Probably just because it's not a focus.
No.
Hasn't been a focus.
No,
I like how you roll your eyes when I say that we're going to talk about NXT, but we're here talking about Mercedes Martinez.
Hey, look,
I have a lot of thoughts about it. Here's Mercedes Martinez.
Anybody know about Zoe Starks? Zoe Starks, anyone?
I'm not going to talk about Zoe Starks and Zoe Stark.
Whatever, motherfucker. It could be Zoe Stark, whichever. Happy birthday.
Tony Stark's fortune. But, so that's pretty much it. They're nearing $1 million gate for Saturday's show, which is cool for them. We already talked about the finals of the World Title Eliminator being moved. And he also will say that Saturday's show is going to be a tight show. It's going to end at a reasonable time. So
I don't give a fuck. I'm coming off work. Shit.
Yeah, I'm paying
5 hours.
Like, I don't care how tight it is. Like, I mean, that sounds really suggestive, but
I do care.
Me too.
I don't care how
it is something I care about.
This can't be no hot dog rolling down no tunnel.
That's it. Let's go that 3 count.
Hit it, son.
It is not going to be a tight show. There are 11 matches. Let's get to that 3 count.
1, 2,
Pre-show.
3.
Okay, so before we get to this, did anybody else watch NXT except for me?
On you.
Not this week.
They had two heavyweight title matches this week. Braun Breaker goes over Von Wagner. Von Wagner looked pretty fucking good in this match. I enjoyed this match. I think that Braun Breaker's a stud. Looks like we're going to get Braun Breaker versus Apollo Crews.
Really?
For the belt. I think that's going to be the next match.
I did see that Carmelo and Wesley signed their match for
Carmelo and Wesley. I believe it's called NXT Deadline. Is the next big event. I don't know if it's a premium live event or.
I think it is. I think it's the weekend of.
Braun Breaker Apollo Crews has the opportunity to be really fucking good. You guys know how I feel about Apollo Crews. I think that you guys are pretty much on the same page as me with Apollo Crews, but it was a fun match.
Anybody with eyes should be.
If you get a chance to watch it, I'm gonna go through the stuff that was good. JD McDonough fought Apollo Crews. JD McDonough has probably been the in-ring MVP of NXT for like the past 3 or 4 months.
Not a surprise.
Very fun guy to watch. Veer Mahan and Sangha Indus is the name of their. They got something going on. They are 2 big Indian, or I should say, Indian-looking men. I don't know.
Right.
I don't want to disrespect anybody. I have a friend who's Pakistani, and he's not racist against Indians. But if you were to call him Indian, he'd be like, "Hey, I'm Pakistani."
Right.
So I don't want to disrespect anybody. But they're 2 two big brown guys.
Shout out to Miss Marvel for teaching me about the history of India and Pakistan. Had no idea until that happened. God, I am such an uncultured piece of shit. But if you want a crash course, just watch Miss Marvel.
Right.
And, man,
for
stuff.
Anybody that wants to watch an incredible 3-hour action movie that's not from Bollywood, it's from it's like it's the Punjabi Bollywood, but I don't want to call it Bollywood because that sounds racist. But there's this movie that's on Netflix right now called RRR. That's like this.
You were telling me about that.
It's like this musical / Marvel movie / historical epic drama about the Indian Revolution in the 30s against the British that were occupying them.
Right.
And it is an insanely crazy fucking movie. I can't recommend it to anybody else. It's almost like a Marvel movie, except it's like a true story, and there's also like musical stuff in it. Anyway, just rip a big old bowl and just watch it. It's called RRR.
Next week, stay tuned. We're going to be off From Ringside because of Thanksgiving, but we're going to do an RRR podcast.
I would do it. I've watched it 1.5 times.
I can't wait. I'm so thrilled that you told me this. This is like it's like an early Christmas present. I can't wait to unwrap this.
Shit.
You'll dig it the most, Zach. No joke. Looks like our friend of me of the show, Dominic Dijak, is got a new gimmick where he's kind of like a lawyer. Like he's sitting in a dark room and he's sipping whiskey and he's talking like all smart and shit. No, it was pretty cool.
Okay.
There's something that's coming up soon on NXT called the Iron Survivor match.
Saw that.
Shawn Michaels was talking about it. It seems pretty convoluted.
Very.
Yeah. What do you?
The King of the Mountain looks over and's like, "What the fuck is this all about?"
Right.
So I'm thinking about this match, and you've got a clock because somebody comes in every 5 minutes, right? There's
That's
five
right.
people. Somebody comes in every 5 minutes.
Yep.
But if you also have somebody coming in every 5 minutes, you got the main clock, then you have a clock of like every 5 minutes. But if somebody takes a pin, they go in a penalty box.
They go in the penalty box, yeah.
So that's another clock.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lots of clocks.
And then what if two people are in the penalty box at different times? So many clocks.
Lots of clocks. It seems pretty convoluted.
I kind of love it.
No.
I knew you would.
No.
I knew he would. This sounds like Zach shit.
Absolutely terrible. Or like, dude, this is me. I was like full on in the Asylum match. I was all about House of Horrors. I am giving this a chance.
No.
I can't wait.
I'm going to watch it. You're going to watch it,
I'm going
too.
to watch it just because you're on the one to talk about it, and my curiosity is just going to lead me to it.
Oh, you
But
don't
for
watch
me-
NXT. Oh, I don't watch this developmental shit.
Look.
Has anybody watched Extreme Crazy Fucking Wrestling, ACFW? Man, you guys got to watch it.
The shit that I watch is still mainstream. The only thing you can talk about me dirty about is MLW at this point.
Well, that's not dirty, but he's right. Stardom is like it's the number 2 promotion in Japan, so that's where most of the extra time goes.
You guys are all
It is
about
a
it.
funny
Look, sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
I know. I'm just saying, like, just don't pish posh.
This is
fucking NXT.
okay. Hang on.
Just don't look at me like I'm an insane person for watch something that's on basic cable in the United States where I happen to live on a Tuesday night when I happen to be home. And you look at me like I'm
NWA was
insane
on that
for
same
watching
Tuesday
it.
night. Did
I
you
do
watch
a wrestling
NWA?
podcast.
Did you watch NWA?
No, it's not on television.
It is. As a matter of
No,
fact,
it's
it
not on
is.
television.
Yes, as a matter of
What
fact, it
channel?
is. It's called YouTube.
That's not TV.
It's called
I'm
YouTube.
43.
I
just
you
turned
don't
43.
you don't know where YouTube is?
Yeah, I do.
watched a 38-minute bullshit episode of
I know what
NWA
YouTube is.
Power
I use it
after
to watch Kenny
your boy
Powers clips.
won the title. If you can't do that, that's on you. But don't sit up here and tell me you can't find
I
it.
know what YouTube is. That's where I watch Eastbound and Down clips.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's where I watch
so you could so in that
I know what
scenario,
YouTube is.
so in that scenario, you couldn't have looked over and be
That's
like,
why I
"Ooh,
watch
what's
old
this?"
videos of my band, the Hibernauts, when I try to relive the glory days when I'm super high. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and my wife's snoring on the recliner, and I just smoked another bowl, and I'm like, remember when I was cool? Look up the Hibernauts on YouTube. Oh, there's 4 videos.
My point is this. Okay, you can talk about me all you want to about all
You guys
the
can
other.
also find the Hibernauts on Spotify, by the way, if you guys feel like listening to it.
as along for Brand for Ringside as well. You can talk about me all you want to. Okay,
Fuck band from Ringside.
the shit that I watch is still legitimate outside of
Unprofessional bullshit.
MLW. That's it. That's the one you can talk about me about.
I tell you what, I don't know if you guys have seen. There's this
That was
Fight
good. It's been a while
Plus,
since me and
Fight
Jason
Plus.
got into it.
It's $5. It's
What-
got like all the GCW shows and a ton of other stuff. It's $5. So Jason, you should buy it. Give us your password.
No, actually, right? Actually, there is a new app on Fire Stick, Pro Wrestling TV. It literally has a lot of like underground like indie shows out there. Good shit. If you have the Fire Stick, download Pro Wrestling TV. You got some good shit going on over there.
Oh, there was this other match in this promotion called All Crazy Women's Wrestling. It's ACWW. There was Mandy Rose versus Alba Fire in a last woman standing match, and then this person named Isla Dawn came over from Europe and missed at Alba Fire, and Mandy Rose ends up going over. I tell you guys, you should watch this. It's like a five-star match.
I will give Mandy.
Who's going to take this title off Mandy?
There you go. I was getting ready to say. It's now the great part about WWE is like who's going to take the title off X person, Roman, Usos, Mandy Rose, Gunther. Now, no, don't look at me like that. This is good because I'm a firm.
They aren't flip flopping.
Right, I'm a firm believer that a long title reign helps the title and the person interchangeably. It doesn't have to be the title makes the person or the person makes the title. If you do it right, they both work together, hand in hand, foot in foot. So in that scenario, I like. Yeah, because you walk foot to foot, motherfucker.
I don't.
Whatever. Anyway, Mandy Rose, I will give all the credit in the world. I didn't think she would last 6 months as a champion. She's going on the year. I just don't like Isla Dawn or whatever the fuck. Yeah, horrible.
They don't say Isla, do they?
I don't give a fuck who she is, man. The fact that she's bumping Kaylee Ray off the fucking ladder bothers my ass, and that's part of the reason I don't watch NXT. So take that shit. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to filibuster. I apologize. Carmelo Hayes, that's the one guy I wanted to talk about. Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker, to me, is the match of NXT. And that's the match I wanted to see versus anything else. Because I really think that Carmelo is going to be the first of the two to go to the main roster. Braun Breaker is going to be there. I just think it's just going to be kind of after the fact. I kind of slotted him in the Royal Rumble. Now it's starting to be more and more that that's not the case. I don't have a problem with Wesley being the North American champion, but Carmelo Hayes is a main roster star waiting to happen. It should have just happened to begin with, but if you got to put Carmelo Hayes down one more time to Wesley to be done with it and then move him up, so be it.
I just want to say one more thing. Now that I've turned 43, I've decided this is my resolution for turning 43, okay?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I will no longer use any slang introduced from here on out.
So I need an example of this. What are you not going to use?
I've said the phrase a couple times, give somebody their flowers, and I always feel like a big poser when I say it because it was probably introduced when I was 41.
Probably.
And I'm like, God damn, I just feel like an idiot when I say this. Or when a friend of mine recently said, a friend of yours too, Matt White, recently said to me, no cap. And I was like, dude, you can't say no cap.
He's a teacher, so he's around that shit. So
You can't say
no, he's probably the one person.
That would be like my dad saying something is fire. That would be like I go to my parents' house and my dad's like, did you watch the new Ken Burns Holocaust documentary on PBS? It was fire.
He's like, yo,
I'd be like, Dad.
word is bond. Ken Burns documentary, word is bond.
I gotta pee on that one.
I'm just done using slang like that. I'm done trying to use slang. I'm not going to say so. Any slang that's introduced from here on out, I'm done.
That's so funny.
I was born in '79.
Are you gonna
It's 2022.
Google the etymology and make sure that it reaches a threshold of 2022, November 2022?
No, it's gonna be. It's like Scalia talked about pornography. You know it when you see it. You know what I mean? It's like I'll know when I see something.
Because you won't have heard it before.
Because I wouldn't have heard it before. I certainly wouldn't have heard of anybody my age or older that said it. And really, it's the giving him his flowers. That's the one that really broke it for me. I'm like, God, I feel so stupid when the couple times I've said it, I'm just done with it. Anyway, that's my pledge.
It's like as old as like powdering his wig.
Yeah, right. So hey,
Oh, that's great.
Oh my God! Did you see the shit on Twitter this week about like old people buying Taylor Swift tickets, and like they're arguing with all the young people about like we should be allowed to listen to Taylor Swift too? It's like, oh my God! It's like you people just fucking.
We're
suck.
arguing about Taylor Swift.
We managed to get some.
Oh, did you guys? Good for you. Fuck those young people. I guess you're bringing young people with you. So.
Yeah, probably.
We are. I'm bringing a 10-year-old.
Oh Jesus.
Nah, that's cool.
God
I mean,
bless
good for you.
God bless you.
Oh, this
Merry
could be
Christmas, Stella.
Yeah. Oh, I hope she doesn't
We
listen
brought
to
her
the
to Lizzo
podcast.
last week. She fucking loved it.
Oh, how was Lizzo?
Apparently amazing.
Aaron saw Lizzo at the pageant and would, like
Apparently she does a good fucking concert.
Yeah, but like now she's doing like arenas. Like see her at the pageant that has a capacity of 1,700 or something.
Yeah.
Apparently she lit.
That was the last
place on
time she
fire.
was in St. Louis.
Yep. It sounded cool.
Without turning this into a Lizzo podcast, my daughter. It was so funny. I managed to. A friend of mine gave me suite tickets for them, so like they went. We found a suite. It was her first concert experience. She had an amazing time. There was an opener whose name was, I think, Lotto. I'm too old to know. It was like a female rapper.
That's what I'm trying to avoid.
She, like, I texted my wife. I was like, "How's the show?" And she's like, "It's good." She's like, "Lotto is on." She's like, "Lots of twerking and lots of cussing. Stella thinks it's funny." And then she's like. She texted me later, and she's like, now all the backup dancers have big signs with the word pussy on them in bright pink.
Oh, no.
She's like, I don't think Stella has noticed.
Tara didn't say lotto cursing and lotto twerking?
Yeah, good call.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
it was right
call.
there. See, this is what happens when you're 43. You go for the punt.
Yeah.
That's going to do it for our 3 count.
That was right there.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, boys. Big pay-per-view this week. I'm going to take a big rip of this weed right now.
Oh, Jesus. Don't hit the wrong button before you do that shit.
It was good while it lasted.
And now it begins. the decline of downhill of Band from Ringside will commence in about 15 seconds, give or take.
Do you remember when Zach made that joke about the clown through the desert? And we're worried about what I'm going to do when I get high?
I've ingested hundreds of milligrams of cannabis today, so I apologize.
Hundreds of milligrams.
God, I love you.
All right, boys. So, Zach, I'm just kidding. That was a really good metaphor.
Quickly as he hit the weed, like, hey, I was fucking with you, right?
We have 11 matches.
Let's do it.
Tony Khan saying he's going to keep this tight.
Whatever,
I'm going to call bullshit.
Yeah, it's going to be 5 hours.
It's going to be 5 hours.
It's going to take me 2 days to watch this shit. I'm going to watch the first 3.
I will not be watching it live.
What?
I will be playing poker at my friend's house.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
That's fun. Hold'em?
We just play like dealer's choice.
Okay.
Pretty much so. But
that's even better.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be tons of fun. I've been looking forward to it for a while. So, let's start off Let's start off with something a little easy.
Okay.
We'll ease into it a little bit. We got Jade Cargill versus Nyla Rose for the TBS Championship. Zach, who you got?
100% Jade Cargill. I don't have a lot to say about this except I hated the build because I hate the feel of the belt gimmick. That's all I have to say.
I agree with Tubir on this one. It's Jade. It makes too much sense. It kind of disappoints me the way that Nyla Rose has been presented here. But like I said last week, I still find her entertaining and funny in the scenario where it's not wrestling. But in this scenario, I'm just disappointed in the fact that
bothers you the way Nyla Rose has been presented.
She's a former world champion. She shouldn't have to steal titles to get a title shot.
It's dumb, and nobody talks about it. Nobody cares about it anymore. Everybody's waiting for Jade Cargill to move on to the next thing.
Agreed.
I'm taking Jade Cargill as well. Let's move on to Sting and Darby Allin versus Jeff Jarrett, Double J, and Jay Lethal. I'll go first here. Sting and Darby Allin almost never lose.
Shit, I don't think they've lost as a tag team.
Almost. They never lose.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. They are undefeated as a tag team.
We haven't seen either one of them. Well, we definitely haven't seen Sting for a while. We saw Darby Allin
bits and pieces
within the last month or so. But he lost.
Yep.
To
it was a singles match, and I can't think of.
Or was it Lethal?
I think it was Jay Lethal. Lethal was his last match, and I think he won that, and that set up another Jay Lethal Darby match.
I kind of felt like getting cute on this one. I'm not going to. I'm going Sting and Darby Allin.
Fuck no, I agree with you, man. I mean, Two Beer said it, and I kind of thought it that I can't think of a Sting Darby Allin match, tag team match that they lost. They've all been
never lost.
They've all been, I shouldn't say all been, but they've been special attractions for the most part.
So that's a stat, Zach?
Yeah.
I'm like confident about it.
I'm very confident they have not lost a tag team match since they've been together in AEW. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna run with it. I'm gonna take Sting and Darby Allin.
I honestly don't expect Sting to lose a match
until the very end.
Match.
Yep. Yep. I agree with you totally.
Sting, like Tony Khan is the same age as me, and I mean, like I'm like almost as successful as Tony Khan. It's like neck and neck, but
I'd rather hang out with you
me right now.
I think you can book better than Tony from time to time.
Wait, he's got tons of money though.
Yeah,
there you go.
He'd pay for everything, and I do not.
I guess it depends on where we're hanging out.
Yeah, that's what I say. If we hang someplace that's cheap,
if we're hanging out at my house, I'd rather hang out with Zach.
Anybody
if we're
can buy around.
In Europe,
I'm with TK.
I'm going with TK.
Yeah. Good call. Me too.
No offense.
But, he's such a huge Sting fan, and Sting has been literally perfect. There's never been a more perfect legend. Even like Terry Funk, whatever. Like, I'm not talking super late Terry Funk, but like,
when it came back against Ric Flair and like in the late 80s or whatever, that was like for me, that was the next incarnation of Terry Funk. This is before ECW. Him and Ric Flair had a really good feud in the late 80s.
Sting has been used. 100%. Sting has been used perfectly in AEW.
Agreed.
He has been treated like a legend.
Agreed.
But he also seems.
And Darby Allin.
But
what a perfect pairing.
Yes, he also seems like he's Darby Allin's sidekick, as opposed to the other way around. Darby Allin fights a lot more.
Sting is the established guy.
I mean, they're both killer promos.
I did love hearing. God damn it.
Saying it's showtime, baby.
That's fair. That's fair and funny. But actually, their mystique, like they've got the charisma at least. It's amazing to get over charismatically without a promo. But I did appreciate. I heard Darby Allin give an interview, and I assume this is pretty accurate.
I wish you could see the look on his face right now.
He basically said he was like getting dressed in like the boiler room and shit. And I'm like, I can imagine this happening. And Sting was like, "No,
hey,
man, like,
come on to the locker room
now. Like, I've got a dressing room. Like, we're a team. Like, you're with me." And like, literally taking him under his wing and be like, "Get out of the boiler room and like come to my." Because, Sting has, like, his own dressing room. He's not in the locker room with the boys.
I guess I should clarify. When I say that it seems like Sting is Darby Allin's sidekick instead of the other way around, Sting has done a very good job of putting Darby Allin up front, first and foremost.
For sure.
He's like, I'm his... And that might be because Sting doesn't fight singles matches on...
He's fucking 63!
I know. That. I'm just saying... It seems like Sting has done this tremendous job of putting Darby Allin front and center in terms of their team. Like, this is the guy that fights singles matches. This is the guy that competes for titles. And I mean, there's no.
Just in case.
It's been done perfectly.
Yeah, without question. When in a scenario with this, in a Vince McMahon regime, if this was WWE, Sting would be up front, out front. Before anybody else. Darby Allin has gotten as much out of this partnership as Sting has gotten out of it.
All right, so everybody takes Sting and Darby Allin. Everybody takes Jade. I'm going to skip the Eliminator match just because we don't know what's going to happen. I will say, though...
Ethan Page.
It's Ethan Page or Ricky Starks. That's why I expect to be in the finals.
That's the finals.
That's why I expect to be in the finals.
I'll go this far. I'll take Ethan Page to win the finals.
That's not on the record, but okay.
No, I'll put it on the record right now.
Okay, so you're taking Ethan Page.
I'll take Ethan Page to win it all.
Stone Cold Lead Pipe.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
I'll tell you what.
No, it's not.
The first time I've ever said Stone Cold Lead Pipe Lock of the Week, I said Bros Clay was going to be world champion.
That's not on record. We don't have that. We don't have that. The fact that I even...
Guess what? And guess what? Guess what? It happened.
The fact that we even bring this up and we acknowledge it should be enough, okay? Let's not push this shit, okay?
Zach, who you got?
Not only that, he's going to speak out against vaccinations.
Fuck, I was going to go piss. What'd you say?
All right, we're moving on. What's the next match?
Do you have Ethan Page, Ricky Starks, or somebody else?
For the Eliminator final.
No, yeah, I mean, Ethan Page all the way. Yeah.
I'll take Ricky Starks.
I'm not mad about it.
We have Jungle Boy versus Luchasaurus. JCB, who you got?
Speaking of feuds that should end at some point, this is one of them feuds. You know, a lot of it is circled around Christian and the fact that he's hurt and you can't really just blow this feud off because it's not really about Luchasaurus. It's about Christian and Jungle Boy. I'm going to take Jungle Boy on this one. I thought this might be a handicap match, so that way you can at least push this over the finish line, if you will, for a lack of a better term, and have Jungle Boy move over, have Christian move along, Luchasaurus as well. Apparently he's coming into this match with some sort of arm injury, something to look out for on that. When it's all said and done, like I said, to me, this is all about Jungle Boy at least beating Luchasaurus. I'm sure that Jungle Boy and Christian are going to have their match at some point, but for now, I'll take Jungle Boy in the steel cage to win. I don't know how he's going to do it, but he's going to do it.
Zach, who you got?
I got Jungle Boy. I really wish they would have moved away from this whenever Christian was going to be out for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any end in sight, but Jungle Boy should win this.
That couldn't have said it better myself than what Zach just said. They should have put it on hiatus, just move Luchasaurus back with Jungle Boy after Christian got hurt, and then you can revisit it. At the same time, I think that's what they're going to do here. Like, I think that Jungle Boy goes over.
Okay.
And then they're going to wait for Christian to heal up. If Christian can fight in the next month, then I wouldn't be surprised if Luchasaurus won, I guess. Actually, I would be. No,
I would still be surprised.
I'm taking Jungle Boy.
No, Jungle Boy is the smart pick.
Hopefully, we get Christian versus Jungle Boy
at some point in 2023.
At some time in the near future. But if not, Jungle Boy has to move on because as well as he's positioned here and as good as he comes off here and as over as he is, he's got to move on to something else.
Agreed. As I say, whether it's TNT title, world title, something.
So put him against Jericho Appreciation
I don't
Society.
care. Yes.
I don't care. Put him against fucking Samoa Joe.
It's
put him
time.
Against anybody.
It is time for Jungle Boy to move on.
Fucking ROH, you know? Put him against Daniel Bryan.
Ooh.
Let's get Jungle Boy versus Christian in an Iron Eliminator match.
It's just the two of them.
Survivor Challenge.
They both get. There's a double count out. They both sit in the penalty box. Just
they got the same amount of pins. Like, God damn it.
So for the interim AEW Women's Heavyweight Championship, we have our World Championship. We have Toni Storm versus Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter is in the kind of spot right now where kind of like the Acclaimed, not exactly like the Acclaimed, but she is naturally over. She is organically over. The crowd is way into Jamie Hayter. A lot of moving parts on this one. It kind of depends on what happens with Britt Baker and Saraya, or the ending of that depends on what happens here. It's a tough one, so it being so tough, I'm going to go with the champ, and I'm going to go with Toni Storm.
Here's my Stone Cold Lead Pipe Lock of the Week. I keep saying it until you say something different. Toni Storm wins until Thunder Rosa comes back.
I've got some interesting pods arriving presently.
Brr?
I'm picking Jamie Hayter.
Love it.
Specifically because she is so over and because we want to kind of give a paradigm shift to this interim title situation where it is not just a holding pattern. It is given a opportunity to show that this can also change hands. So,
can I say something in rebuttal?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I did hear an interesting rumor. I did see the interesting rumor on Twitter today that Tony Khan might just anoint Toni Storm as the undisputed world champion because obviously Thunder Rosa is not coming back. Not knowing.
There's like a time limit situation.
Well, yeah, at a certain point, you know, they said it. I guess it was on Wednesday that it was like the 7th or 8th title defense for Toni Storm. I mean, damn, at a certain,
she's a fighting champ.
Okay, so that is certain
interim champ.
No. No. I put this on the Twitter on our on BFR pod on Twitter. I put the poll out there. Is the interim championship or good or bad idea? It was 100 some odd votes. 85% said no. I'll take it for what it's worth. For Toni Storm,
people.
For Toni Storm,
how many of those voters owned land or property?
God damn it, I got to do a second poll on that one. I'll just say this. For Toni Storm to have 7, 8, 9 defenses.
Holy shit, that was
right,
funny.
That was horrible, by the way. For Toni Storm to have those amount of defenses and still be interim champion is a problem. You don't have people wanting to invest in an interim champion because it's not the champion. That's why I'm taking Toni Storm on this one. I love Jamie Hayter. I love her. That is my girl. But until you settle this scenario, whether Toni Storm's the champion or not, she's going to hold the title until you decide whether or not she's the champion, the undisputed champion, or not.
I wish I wouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. I apologize to the listening audience. I got Jason started on the interim championship thing again.
No, I'm done.
I'm done. When he starts up,
I'm done.
He just can't. He gets so worked up about it.
It's a silly idea.
So let's move on to the other women's match, which is not Bianca Belair. Sorry, I have BB written. Sorry, Britt Baker. I have BB written.
You do have BB written.
So Braun Breaker.
I have that as
Braun
BB
Breaker
also.
versus Saraya. Let's do it.
Dude, you gotta be careful when you get in all the BSs and the SBs. Shotzi Blackheart, Sasha Banks, Braun Strowman.
That's BS. Literally and figuratively.
It's SB and BS.
Unprofessional bullshit.
What?
I did that on
I said
accident.
BS.
I did that on accident, actually. Okay, so Britt Baker versus Saraya. Britt Baker cuts a pure babyface promo.
It's a babyface
Wednesday
promo.
Night. Jason, I'll let you go first. Who you got?
I will be the first to say that I was not on board with this match up until the last couple weeks. Saraya and Britt together, and then Saraya and Britt separately. Britt is coming off as more and more of the babyface in this scenario. I don't think that's a good, bad, or indifferent. That's just my opinion on it. Pinning me down. Fuck. I'm gonna take Britt Baker just because it's the establishment. It's the safe pick. I would not be surprised to see Saraya win this match, but it's been 5 years. I'm not sure.
It's been 5 years.
I'm not sure.
Wrestle a match.
I'm not sure what we're going to see from Saraya after a 5-year hiatus. Ring rust is a thing. Timing is a thing. So as much as I like to see them in a promo battle, ultimately this is going to come down into the ring, and that's what wrestling is all about. I'm going to take Britt Baker to win.
Zach, who you got?
Man, I'm glad you mentioned the promo because it was awesome. She did a fantastic job, just like speaking right into the camera, cutting a pure babyface promo.
But Saraya's rebuttal was pretty good too. She's like,
it felt like more heelish than anything else.
Yeah, but she was like, I'm sick of fucking talking. She's like, I'll see you Saturday.
I will say,
okay,
I would like to take Jason's pick, but I have a hard time thinking that Tony Khan
I agree.
signed that much money.
I agree.
To get her, and she's losing her first match. So I'm just going to pick Saraya because I'm picking with my brain and not my heart here.
Okay, I'm going to take Britt Baker, and the reason is...
Well, Britt Baker's losing.
You've seen the week that I've had with predictions, right?
This is true story. True story. I apologize.
The reason I'm taking Britt Baker is because Saraya considers herself such a mind. Oh, man, she's been in the business for so long, since she was 13 or whatever. I bet that Saraya goes to Tony Khan and goes, it makes more sense to have Britt Baker go over, especially if Jamie Hayter's not going to go over, which I didn't pick her to go over. So if Jamie Hayter loses and Britt Baker wins, then we can finally build up to the Jamie Hayter versus Britt Baker shit. Like there's so many different ways you can go with this, though. I know it didn't make much sense.
Okay, that's you see me over here like
it made sense in my head.
1, 2, 3, 17, 18. Wait, we missed some dots.
But I mean, there's lots of different ways you can go here because we don't know which match is going to go first. There's so many different ways you can book it. If you have Jamie Hayter win the championship,
she's not winning.
You could have Britt Baker lose. Or you could have Britt Baker lose first and then go after Jamie Hayter and ruin it for Jamie Hayter. Like, there's tons of shit that you can do just in terms of what order they put the matches in.
This is Bill. He's like MOON. That's Bill's women's wrestling.
Okay, but Two Beard, you see what I'm saying, right? I mean, I honestly think that there's one match is a slam dunk, the other is not.
I feel like my brain fried. I was like so sure of my pick, and now I'm just lost in the ether. Too much Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker.
Okay, I'll bring it back.
I'm like in Inception. You planted the seed.
Oof.
I'll bring it back to earth. Okay, let's go with what is my Stone Cold Lead Pipe lock of the week. Brodus Clay is going to remain your NWA. I'm taking the Acclaimed over Swerve in Our Glory. This will probably be the end of Swerve in Our Glory, which is just as fine. When you have a group like the Acclaimed, you have an act like the Acclaimed that are as over as they are over. You saw guys in the World Series hitting home runs and scissoring each other.
Yeah.
Like, that shit has reached... not the mainstream, but it's out there, and so you have to keep them hot.
No,
it's got to be Acclaimed.
If you're doing the scissoring in the World Series, that's mainstream. That's as mainstream as it gets.
So many people watch the World Series.
There was scissoring at the World Series?
Yes.
Who?
There were players in the dugout after one hit a home run. They go through the dugout and they give high five to everybody, and then two of them did the scissor me daddy thing. It's like it's a thing. And
that's
to me,
amazing.
And to me, that's a thing. Okay, that to me is as mainstream as it gets. And
it's strange that like a group of people as highbrow as professional baseball players watch professional wrestling. It's like so impossible that would get over.
That totally doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, they're the dumbest motherfuckers in the world. Baseball players are so dumb.
I tried to too sweet a guy at Busch Stadium. I was at a Cardinals game and he's wearing a Bullet Club shirt. I tried to too sweet him, and he looked at me like I was the same person. I don't know if I've ever been angrier.
Dude, I saw a guy at the Black Pumas concert at the pageant, and he was wearing a New Japan shirt, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, Okada, right?" And he looked at me, he was like, "Okada, Okada," and it's like we were like moving past each other through the crowd.
Okada, everybody chanting Okada.
No, it was just me and him. It was just me and him. It was the exact opposite experience that Zach just described. It's like the guy was wearing a New Japan shirt. I was like, "Okada, right?" And he's like, "Okada, Okada."
You two chanting Okada. It's like, what the fuck are these guys talking about?
2 shifts past in the night.
I am going to take shit. What's the match again?
Acclaimed.
Yeah, I'll take the Acclaimed. It's a long time for Keith Lee and Swerve to break up. I'm waiting for it, and from that point, I want to see Swerve and Keith Lee battle into 2023.
Zach, I got you chalked up for the Acclaimed.
Scissor me, daddy.
Yep. You should have seen my wife's reaction last night when it was on, and they were like, "Scissor me, daddy," and they were doing all the scissor stuff, and my wife was like, "That's a porn term, right?" And I was like, I was like, "Yeah, it is."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my little delicate flower. Never heard of anything. Okay, so let's go
Look through your search history.
Let's go.
Let's say search history, delete.
Oh, here's my Pornhub history. It's like hand job, understanding, just be nice to me, hand job.
Way different from my Pornhub search. Let's go ahead.
Stop yelling.
That's the porn I want to see. Stop yelling, and then it turns into sex. Okay, fair enough.
Just a POV. It's like, can you stop yelling at me? And she's like, oh, yeah. Lay back. HJ time. Okay, so let's go to the ROH World Championship. We got Jericho, Bryan Danielson, Claudio and Sammy Guevara in a. This is a fatal 4-way. This is not an elimination match. So
Good.
You can. So
We're doing the thing.
So Jericho can. Yeah, we're doing the thing. So
We're doing the
Jericho
thing.
can lose it without getting pinned. Jason, would you like to go first?
Are we doing Lisa first, or are we doing
Lisa first?
Okay, so then I'm going to take Sammy Guevara as least likely to win. I know they're teased, some sort of treachery fuckery going around. I just don't see that happening. I'm going to go Claudio as number 3. Him winning on Wednesday doesn't necessarily mean he's not going to win, but I'm just going on the WWE aspect of things. If you win on the go-home show, it means you probably won't win on the actual pay-per-view. So Jericho versus Danielson. Either or would be good if you want to sign a long-term deal with a company that can stream. Go ahead.
Can I ask a question that might affect your opinion?
Yeah.
But isn't there a pay-per-view coming up soon that's a Ring of Honor pay-per-view?
The final battle is December 10th, if I'm not mistaken.
So real soon.
Yeah, very soon. Champion, whoever wins, is going to defend against somebody else. I don't think it matters one way or the other. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to take Danielson in 2. I'm going to take Chris Jericho to retain. No real rhyme or reason to it. I just think that Chris Jericho is the guy that Tony Khan trusts the most. It's just something to it. I'll go with that as my picks. I'll go Jericho 1, Danielson 2, Claudio 3, and then your boy Sammy Guevara number 4. Two Beer, who you got?
The exact same thing.
Sammy
That's
is
very
4.
compelling, but yeah, Sammy 4, Claudio 3, Danielson 2, Jericho 1. You laid it out similar to what I think. I don't have to expand on it anymore.
Ooh, shit. Okay. This shit's starting to get a little interesting, baby. I see 1, 2, 3 matches left. I'm going to let the birthday boy come back and finish this off. Two Beer agrees with me. I put it on the right-hand side, correct?
Yeah, that's right. So I went the same as you guys, even though apparently there's rumors that Guevara is going to win this. I don't believe those rumors.
That'd be wild.
It would actually be pretty dumb, kayfabe style and shoot style. It would be dumb.
Who came up with those rumors? Like my high
Ringside
school bully?
News.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. Like,
I'll go with Ringside News for 100, Alex.
Probably.
When I'm on wrestling Twitter, like my eyes glaze over. I don't even know what I'm reading. But I gotta say,
I hope Elon Musk just fucking kills it. It's so.
Apparently
I
he's
barely
locked.
get on
Apparently he has locked the doors at headquarters until the 21st of November, and has sent. No, serious. And everybody has been informed that their badges no longer work until the 21st of November. So nobody knows.
Everybody knows to find us. I'll still have my Facebook account for all my old people, like relatives. So like you can find us on Friends of BFR, but like Twitter's a fucking cesspool, and it's so fun watching it just fucking implode.
So I made my Friendster account back in 2004. So you can find me on
Friendster?
Yeah, Friendster. Yeah, you don't know what Friendster is? I mean, it was before.
Is that like Woot?
It was before MySpace. But you can find me. You can find me on my Friendster account. If Twitter gets shut down, you can find me there, and my handle is Charlie Sheen 69. So I got Sammy Guevara.
The only bummer about Twitter going down would be the removal of Glenn Salsa.
Oh man, Oh, my old alt, Glenn Salsa. He was just a perverted 50-year-old.
Jesus.
His biography.
Perverted bisexual 50-year-old.
Yeah, it was his bio was. I came up with one night when I was stoned. Believe it or not.
Shocker.
My 30s were for working. My 40s were for jerking. My 50s are for fucking. Bring on the gashes.
I'm done. Wrap it up. Hit the outro music. We're over.
Okay, I got Sammy Guevara last, Claudio third, and then I have Chris Jericho, and then I have Bryan Danielson as the
nice
winner, just because that's really what I want to see, and I think that we've ran our course with this. Bryan Danielson going into Final Battle as ROH champion,
no problem with that.
would be way cooler than Jericho, even if it's just
even
for
when we ran it back and you had Jericho as the challenger.
Even if you're just trolling as a booker, it still makes more sense to have Danielson. So I
No
want
problem.
Danielson to win, and then I'll probably buy Final Dane. Then I'll probably buy Final Battle.
What the fuck is wrong with you? We getting that shit for free, baby.
here's where the flaw in your plan is. Danielson will never go on Fox News. So
look at you.
I think Billy Corgan's not booking this match.
This motherfucker. Fuck Billy Corgan.
Man, me and Billy Corgan have a lot in common.
Y'all both get that ass beat.
No, both of our names are Bill.
That's about it.
We both play shitty guitar in good bands. And we both love pro wrestling. And we both love Brodus Clay. So,
obviously, 4 things. There you go. Who would have thunk it?
I got a better head of hair.
This is true.
Okay, so we got Powerhouse Hobbs versus Samoa Joe versus Wardlow for the TNT
Powerhouse
title. It's been a while since Zach has gone first. Zach, give it to me, at least 2 first.
Oh, man, this one's a little bit tough. I'm going to go with Samoa Joe at bottom. I'm going to go Wardlow in the middle, and I'm going to Powerhouse Hobbs to take it because
Love it.
It's been a little stale. We need to change things up, and Hobbs is real good. And I think this is like a thing where you see how he does and give him a run.
I love the pick. That's not what I'm taking. I am also taking Samoa Joe last. I'm taking Powerhouse Hobbs second. I'm taking Wardlow first. This is another thing that greatly hinges on the way the main event goes, because if MJF wins, I could definitely see them putting the TNT title on Powerhouse Hobbs so that it frees Wardlow up to be MJF's first challenger.
The perfect first challenger. Oh my God!
But I also think Ricky Starks would also be a perfect first challenger for MJF, because it's got to be somebody that you like, that you don't expect to win.
Well, think about what Wardlow did last time. Like, before we saw Wardlow just demolished MJF. Like, all he did was powerbomb him. That's an amazing first pick for a challenger.
I just saw Jason's mind change like 4 times within 15 seconds as you and me like hash that out for him.
Oh my God! Jesus!
As we hashed that out for him,
I'm
he
like,
was like,
man,
"Oh,
I'm glad I'm going last."
He's like, "Oh, that's a good point." Well,
Yeah,
that's a good point.
too.
Ooh, that's a really good point.
Fuck me on running.
So I think that Zach and I pretty much think the exact same thing, but we just went slightly different predictions. Either way, it's a good place to be, which this triple threat actually makes so much sense.
It makes a ton of sense. Okay. I'm not going to change. I'm going to take Powerhouse 2 or Powerhouse 3. It pains me to even do this because I think he's going to be a champion at some point.
You're taking Powerhouse least
likely to win, because I think it wouldn't surprise me if he won. And if he did win, I would be happy for it. There's nobody, I'll go this far, there's nobody that's going to win that I'll be like, oh, they shouldn't have won, or I don't like them, whatever the case may be. I like all 3.
Kind of like this week's Jeopardy Tournament of Champions. Like, I'm cool with all 3 of them.
Okay, I'll let you go on Jeopardy on that one. I'm gonna take Samoa Joe as 2. It makes sense if he wins, or if he doesn't win, he's in a good spot. Samoa Joe's not going anywhere. He's fine. He's over. No big deal. I'm gonna take Wardlow to retain. It doesn't have anything to do with my pick for the world title. I just think that Wardlow just hasn't had a nice little run with the TNT title just yet, so that's the only rationale I have for it. So Wardlow 1, Samoa Joe 2, Powerhouse Hobbs 3.
3 different picks there. All of our second picks are different. So we got the two big ones left.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Happy birthday to you.
Thank
so
you.
we have Death Triangle versus, this was just announced the other night, versus the Elite in what Zach and I have already proclaimed to be the best match, the match of the night. I'll go first.
Oh, god damn.
I'll go first. I don't know how they do it. I honestly, part of me wants to say it wouldn't be a very good look for the Elite to come back in night one and be like, hey, thanks for holding our belts for us. Now we're taking it back. Right?
You stole my thunder, yes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
But
yes, sir.
But how do you make the Elite lose this? I guess you can tell the story where they're rusty. They've already done it with
Kenny
Omega recently.
A little bit.
But still, my heart tells me that it's just got to be. I'm going to go with my instinct. I'm going to go Death Triangle. You got
the
Jason.
Elite. The Elite. They're coming back as a babyface. Pac is basically going to be a heel, kind of moving forward because he's all about the bell hammer and trying to flip the Lucha Brothers into his way of thinking. This is a two-part story. It's the biggest story is the Elite coming back and getting the titles that they never lost. And number two is Pac breaking up Death Triangle, where Lucha Brothers go one way, Pac goes the other. I got the Elite.
Zach, who you got?
This is my lead cold stone pipe lock of the week. I'm picking the Elite.
Okay.
And what's up?
No, go ahead and finish, and then I'll say what I want to say here and there a little bit.
Just because part of it, Jason mentioned, they've kind of teased a split with Death Triangle. Part of it is just it's the Elite returning. You got to get them just back in the game. You got to solidify them as like the top of the top, the creme to the creme. I will also throw a little bit of a little side bet. There's no money on the line, but side bet action. I think the Elite are going to come out to Carry On My Wayward Son. That's just they filed a trademark for the Wayward Sons and then abandoned it. I just think they want to come out to that music. I think they'll just pay money to come out to that music. So I think it's going to be cool.
No! Okay, so am I
Exactly.
That's the music from Carry On My Wayward Son.
You act like I know that song. You act like I know that song. You know I don't.
So
You don't?
I'm black.
Am I completely out on a limb here thinking that Death Triangle's gonna win? Like, is that like a stupid?
I don't think it's stupid, but I think it's going to be a stretch. It's the Elite is the Elite. I mean, it's Omega, it's the Bucks, it's guys that you want on the card, want on the roster at all times. They're top guys. No disrespect to FTR when I say that, but they're top guys. So yeah, you want them to be on the card moving forward as champions.
All right, let's go to the main event. We have Jon Moxley, reigning champion, versus Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Oh, fuck my life.
I want who wants to go first? Jason, I want you to go first. I feel like Jason, more than anything, and more than anybody else, like sits back and benefits from other people discussing.
No, I'll go first. I will go first. I have no problem with this. I'm not going to waver. I'm not going to waver. I've said this from the start, and I'm going to take it down to the finish. I'm taking MJF to win it. I'm taking, on top of this, I'm saying that William Regal is going to help him win this. You have never seen William Regal in the ring on a Jon Moxley promo until this week. And he was literally in the middle.
The last 2 weeks.
Okay, fine. But he was literally in the middle where you see Moxley on one side and you see MJF on the other, and you see Regal in the middle.
That was very purposeful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that being said, I don't know how we get there, but
I think
William
Regal slides in the brass knucks or the diamond ring.
That's what I was going to say. The brass knucks was, to me, the way I thought they were going to go, because last night Regal had the brass knucks in his hand just in case MJF wanted to get a little cute. I got my shit in my left. I will bust you up. I think ultimately somehow that comes back into play again. It's a lot of shit that we've seen before that will come out and play out on Saturday night. I got MJF in New Jersey to win the AEW championship. I'm not saying that Jon Moxley deserves to lose it. I'm a firm believer that Jon Moxley needs to run the table for this title for a little bit. And I've said that for a long, long time. But I agree with Bill, especially when you have scenarios like this with the Elite, CM Punk, where you got dream matches that we all want to see and we don't get to see. There's certain times where you need to pull the trigger and make this shit happen. This is one of them times. This is it's MJF. I'm gonna just say it like that. MJF wins the title.
Zach, who do you have?
Yeah, William Regal had the brass knucks. If you look real closely, it was a controlled demolition. There was like explosions before the plane hit the tower. Therefore, this is MJF winning the championship.
Does Regal help him win it?
Yeah, sorry, I got deep in the conspiracy theory there. Yes, William Regal helps him.
Okay. I don't want to be the only guy on this island that says that
Nope,
William Regal
not.
is going to be flipping on. Oh no, I'm not.
telegraphed,
Just
right.
in this little podcast we have going on
So
here.
Zach took MJF?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and how is, I mean, every single time Moxley that he's lost, he doesn't lose cleanly, right? He's very protected. Regal turning on him is like the perfect way for him to lose this title.
all right. So I think that I agree with you guys that Regal is going to involve himself in this. I don't know if that's the end of the Blackpool Combat Club.
Oh, that should be the end.
I really don't care. I mean, the Blackpool Combat Club was a super cool name for a super cool team that it felt like Moxley didn't even feel like being a part of it. I'm not saying that's true or it's not, but anyway, I'm also taking MJF. I am saying that Regal gets involved. I'll also say this, that the other night, MJF came in and he saved Jon Moxley. We talked about how I didn't really like the way it went down, but whatever. But the thing that MJF said at the beginning of his promo, he goes, "I can see that you're lying there, John. Hopefully you're in a lot of pain." Do you know what that's from?
No.
That's from the Pipe Bomb promo. That's the first thing Punk came out and said to John Cena because he went through the table with, what was it, R-Truth, right?
I had no idea.
And CM Punk said to him, I see you lying there, John, hopefully in a lot of pain. MJF said the exact same thing. So
That's
then
pretty deep.
Yeah.
MJF said, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
That's the one.
Somebody like MJF, who's 26 years old, probably think that that's a really cool line. But that's a line, the first time I ever heard that line was in The Usual Suspects. And I was old enough to have had sex and get high before a movie when I saw that movie at the theater. So it's not as impressive to me, MJF.
Wait. Hang on. Stop.
Hey,
Stop.
MJF,
Stop.
it's not
Stop.
that
Stop.
cool of a thing to say. Kevin Spacey said that 25 years ago in a movie. 26
Kaiser
years ago in a
Soze.
movie. Yeah, Kaiser Soze. Yeah, right.
Did you have sex and get high before that movie? That's all I want to know.
No, 95? Fuck,
Shit.
no. I definitely got high. I had sex. The point
10 years
stands.
old.
The point stands. The point stands, everybody. So he came out there and he says, the greatest trick the devil pulled was to convince the world he didn't exist. So I think that he's going to cut a pro. I think that he's going to win Saturday night. He's going to cut a promo next Wednesday. It says, you thought I was the devil. I was talking about William Regal was the devil, and he convinced the world he didn't exist. But if I were going to take it a step further, because he started that promo with CM Punk, I think CM Punk comes out on Saturday night, helps him win, and CM Punk is the devil.
Jesus Christ.
Is the devil. that convinced the world he never existed.
Tony Khan's like, I'll give you $5 million if you run in on the MJF boxing match. That's what they've been trying to work out. That's why they're still selling CM Punk shirts.
Listen, I'm saying that as a joke. I'm saying that as a joke, but if it happens,
yeah, you will get all the credit. You will get all
You'd be like
the credit.
Guy that bet all that money on the Astros. You'd be like, it's the best sports bet.
Fuck Negro Diamonds. It's Bill of Diamonds at that point. If that shit happens, I swear to God, if that shit happens, you get all the fucking credit. Every fucking credit in the world.
Flowers?
Oh, I would give you a bouquet.
I'm not using that term.
That's a great callback. That's so funny. Good job.
All right, so we all have MJF. So looking forward to that. Like I said, I will not be watching it live. I will be at a friend's house playing poker. We do these things like twice a year, and I'm gonna try to convince him to buy the pay-per-view so I can have it on the background.
Hey,
I don't know how much it is. Just order it. I'll give you $5.
Hey, you get a replay. Just order it, and you can watch it live, and then you get a replay. You can watch it later.
What, dude? Watch wrestling. You know the fucking. You don't even need my password for this shit. Everybody's got the internet. WatchWrestling.mobi.
WatchWrestling.mobi is what it is.
There's multiple, but WatchWrestling.mobi to me is the more.
Hey everybody, we don't have any odds and ends this week. We went a really long time, but we do have some birthdays this week.
Jesus Christ.
We have Mako Satomura is 43. Miss Elizabeth is 62.
R.I.P. Yes, I got that one.
I bet she'd be a hot.
What?
Nikki Bella is 39.
I did like
Brie Bella.
I did like Mandy
39.
Rose, imitating.
Also a hot 62.
Jesus Christ.
Elias is 35. Aaliyah. Remember her?
Yeah.
She was
WWE
She was getting pushed there for a minute.
I think that there seems like there should be something on this. Oh, it's Jason Cornelius Bell. Jason Cornelius Bell on November 20th will be
29. 49.
He was born on a leap year.
Yeah. You're right. Multiple leap years at 29.
We will not be doing a show next week. Next week is Thanksgiving. We probably should have done our Survivor Series predictions tonight too, but it's getting too damn cold out here, man.
I'll go like this.
Fire ain't doing shit. Yeah.
I'll go like this. Survivor Series predictions. I expect Team Bianca to win. I expect Team Bloodline to win.
Hey, everybody. We know there's tons of podcasts.
And we're getting me.
As the Oscar speech, I'm walking you out. For Patriot Pat, thank you very much for the AKA, for Vice, for Tender Mahal, for my wife Erin, for the cats, for the dog, for the baby, for Zach's baby, for Taylor Swift, for Murray the Murray Man Murray. I said Patriot Pat, right?
Yes, at the beginning.
For Two Beard Zach, for Jason Cornelius Bell, Black Lives Matter, support your local restaurants, support your local weed dealers. Apologies to Eddie Kingston. I am Bill Vega. Never forget to build through the heels.
Boo, bitch.
It's cold. To build the heels.